Down at the Arch, I'm Tom Ackerman. Just days after a reported house explosion near Troy, another Metro East community is waking up to reports of a blast that shook its neighborhood. We'll have the latest from Godfrey after CBS News.
I'm Debbie Monterrey.
Opponents of some St. Charles Community College Board of Trustee members want a change in today's election. I'm Maria Aquina. I'll explain.
This is AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg. A bit of rain in places this morning, especially north of the city. Otherwise, mostly cloudy and quite cool today, high 57.
A national champion in college basketball is crowned. The Cardinals blow a lead in Washington, and the Blues have a big game tonight. I think this is a must-win for them. Sports in 15 minutes.
News, talk, cards. KMOX AM St. Louis, KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
This is CBS News on the Hour, your home for original reporting.
I'm Deborah Rodriguez. President Trump's deadline is approaching, and so far, Iran isn't blinking.
The entire country could be taken out in one night.
He's threatening to blow up power plants and bridges if Tehran doesn't fully reopen the Strait of Hormuz by 8 p.m. Eastern.
We have to have a deal that's acceptable to me. And part of that deal is going to be we want free traffic of oil.
He insists his retaliation plans would not constitute war crimes. Iran is meeting the president's threats by urging young people to form a human chain around power plants to protect them. Linda Gradstein reports from Jerusalem.
In a statement in Farsi, the Army's Persian language spokesman said that all citizens in Iran should refrain from using and traveling by train until 9 p.m. local time. The statement said, quote, "Your presence on trains and near railway lines puts your lives at risk." Yesterday, Israel's defense minister said the army will continue to strike national infrastructure in Iran with full force.
Iran's president says he is among 14 million Iranians who volunteered to sacrifice their lives in the war. Turkish officials say gunmen have attacked a high-rise building that houses the Israeli consulate in Istanbul. They say one attacker was killed. The Artemis II astronauts got a congratulatory call from President Trump after they made history, going farther into space than any other humans. Pilot Victor Glover.
We were really able to make some of our most detailed observations of the far side of the moon up close. And so we were busy up here working really hard. And I must say, it was actually quite nice.
The lunar flyby lasted nearly 7 hours. Today, the crew is in for some science, manual flying, and a little downtime. It's runoff day in Georgia. WSB's Jonathan O'Brien.
Since January, Georgia's 14th district has been without representation in Congress following the resignation of Marjorie Taylor Greene. Now, voters will have the final say on her replacement. Republican Clay Fuller bested his 11 Republican opponents in the March election with the help of President Trump's endorsement, and he's hoping that momentum will carry him to victory tonight. But Democrat Sean Harris won the most votes in the March election. A strong showing in the deeply red district could buoy Democratic hopes for November.
The NHL's Dallas Stars have banned a fan who celebrated a goal with a Nazi salute. CBS's Michael Wallace.
While most fans pumped their fists to the Stars' goal song, 4 young men repeatedly gave a Nazi salute. The team says it tracked down the fan who bought the group's tickets and has banned him from the arena indefinitely. The Stars say any discriminatory or hateful behavior will not be tolerated in their arena. The team is also increasing its in-arena messaging about its fan code of conduct.
This is CBS News.
It's one of the most successful law and justice programs in television history that continues to uncover the truth. 48 Hours, Saturday on CBS and streaming on Paramount.
It is 6:03, and right now we've got mostly cloudy skies. It's 44 degrees in downtown St. Louis. I'm Debbie Monterrey.
And I'm Tom Ackerman. Will give you that full forecast here momentarily. Let's first tell you what's happening in the news. We talked about this just a few minutes ago. The Illinois Fire Marshal's office is investigating a possible house explosion in Godfrey. It happened late Monday in the 300 block of Meadowlark Drive. The Godfrey Fire Department activated a second alarm to bring additional crews to the scene. We're told a mother and one of her adult children were inside the home. Our partners at Fox 2 spoke with a neighbor.
A bunch of smoke and flames on the one side of her house coming up, and all the neighbors came out. They were trying to help wake them up or get them up, and thankfully everybody's okay.
This explosion and fire comes just days after 3 people were killed in a reported explosion at a home south of Troy, Illinois.
Voters go to the polls in Missouri today for general municipal elections. Some places have measures involving taxes, And the big one is Proposition F. In the city of St. Louis, the 1% earnings tax is back on the ballot. That tax generates at least a third of the city's budget. When city residents voted on it last time, it passed overwhelmingly with almost 80% of the vote.
St. Charles and Jefferson counties will decide whether to extend property tax freezes, which are like those already available to seniors in Missouri, to all homeowners. The measure comes from a Senate bill passed last year and would affect 97 of the state's 114 counties. St. Louis City and County are not eligible. The polls open at 6 this morning and close at 7 tonight.
Many faculty and students hope today's election will bring a change on the St. Charles Community College Board of Trustees. 3 people are running. 1 is unopposed. The other 2 are longtime board members.
And that's why an instructor of political science at the community college is counting on St. Charles voters to make a change.
Gabe Harper wants to see the board go back to the rule of previous administrations when there was public input from students, staff, faculty, and the people who are the ones who ultimately fund the school.
3 seats open on the Board of Trustees, but only on 2 of those seats is it a competitive race. 1 person is filling out someone's term who retired, and that person is running unopposed. But we do have 2 persons who are running for re-election to the Board of Trustees, and we have 2 people who are challenging them for those seats. And so what a lot of us would like who work at the college and who are involved in what's going on and deeply concerned about this is we'd like to get people on the board who are more responsive to students, to faculty members, to staff members, and to the general public, because this is a community college.
Harper says many in the St. Charles Community College, as well as the public, feel excluded. Maria Aquina, KMOX News.
Requests for St. Charles Community College to comment were not acknowledged.
The city of Arnold has been improperly taxing residents for years, according to a new audit.
A real lack of transparency here. They're operating in the shadows.
Auditor Scott Fitzpatrick, after his audit into the city of Arnold, found they are using a transportation development district to improperly impose a 1% sales tax on residents. According to Fitzpatrick, the city was unable to show on a map any viable projects, but continued to tax residents and purchase properties.
I think they want to turn that neighborhood into a commercial development. They want to have more retail. They want to have more non-residential development in that area. And they're using the TDD as a front to purchase these properties.
Asked about criminal charges, Auditor Fitzpatrick says he will make sure Attorney General Catherine Hanaway has a copy of the report, and adds they referred the Arnold City Attorney to the Jefferson County Prosecuting Attorney's Office on misdemeanor charges for misrepresenting himself as counsel for the TDD. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
KMOX has reached out to the city of Arnold for comment, and we have not heard back.
St. Louis County Police announced Monday that an Alton, Illinois woman was killed Friday night in a wrong-way crash on Lewis and Clark Boulevard near Route 67. Officers say 23-year-old Katie Holman's car was struck by another car traveling southbound in the northbound lanes. 3 more people in Holman's car and the driver of the other vehicle were injured. The search for witnesses continues.
An effort by Kirkwood residents to save an historic 19th century home from demolition has failed. A St. Louis County judge dismissed a lawsuit to save the Marquitz Garish house on North Taylor, saying the plaintiffs have no standing. The home was built in 1858 and has a local historic landmark designation. It's within Kirkwood's North Taylor Historic District, which is on the National Register of Historic Places.
From the KMOX Business Desk, an historic Mississippi River property in Limay is for sale. The School Sisters of Notre Dame are selling their 17-acre campus that includes their mother house built in 1895. Known as Sancta Maria in Ripa, the campus has an asking price of $6.8 million. Most of the sisters who once lived there have moved elsewhere. According to the Business Journal, the sisters hope to work with a buyer whose plans respect the site's history and align with the congregation's values.
We will take a look at your ride-in this morning, as well as the weather. It's a pretty, typical April forecast. No big surprises here. We'll be back with that next at 6:08.
Why do the national tax resolution firms need the tiny fine print at the bottom of all their TV ads? Hi, this is Lance Story with the Lance Story Law Firm. You don't hear fast-talking disclaimers in our ads because the claims we make are 100% transparent. The Lance Story Law Firm primarily focuses on one thing, IRS problems, and we're regulated by the Bar Association, and we have a AAA rating with the Better Business Bureau. IRS issues are serious legal issues. The Lance Story Law Firm has helped thousands of clients clients navigate the best resolution plans, and we tell you up front exactly how much it'll cost. Tax resolution law is all we do. So before you send money to some out-of-town, high-pressure salesperson, give us a call at the Land Story Law Firm, located right here in St. Louis. Call today to schedule your free consultation with me, 314-260-6120, or visit LanceDruryLaw.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
There's a difference between liking a house and actually getting it. Redfin is built to make up that difference and close the gap between finding and owning the home for you. Redfin agents close twice as many deals as other agents, so when you find a home you love, you're not a step behind when it's time to make an offer. That means less watching great homes disappear and more focus on the ones you'll actually move into and call home. Redfin helps turn saved listings into real addresses. Get started at redfin.com. Own the dream.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance tech at a university, he knows ordering from multiple suppliers takes time away from keeping their arena up and running. That's why he counts on Grainger to get everything he needs, from lighting and HVAC parts to plumbing supplies, all in one place. And with fast, dependable delivery, he's stocked and ready for the next tip-off. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts.
It's 6:10, and it's time for Roger Brand and the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Tom, we still have this crash on eastbound 64. It's eastbound 64 east of Ballas. Just the center lane's getting past it right now. And the jam hasn't gotten any worse. It's just jammed back to 270 right now on eastbound 64. So, again, pay attention as you come up the hill approaching that 270 overpass, because you get about midway across it and everybody hits the brakes pretty quickly. So it's a very short jam. Hasn't gotten any worse, but hasn't gotten any better yet. They haven't been able to clear that crash as of now. Northbound 55, you still got a backup. 67 up through Highway A. The right lane was closed for road work there. There's a little bit of a delay on eastbound 70, east of 47, about midway into the right city rest area due to road work as well. 67 at Double D. There's a minor crash reported with lane blockage, but I'm not seeing any delays through that stretch right now. Next update at 6:20 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Nothing makes a gathering great like Eggland's best eggs. They're just so delicious with better nutrition, too. For us, it's eggs any style, as long as they're the best. Eggland's best. Better taste, better nutrition, better eggs.
Plenty of clouds today. A little bit of rain at times this morning. The high 57. Clouds will begin to break tonight, low 43. Clouds, some sun, breezy and warmer tomorrow. The high 77. Thursday, remaining warm with intervals of clouds and sun, high 81. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
It's 45 degrees with cloudy skies right now in downtown St. Louis.
It's 6:12. Sports coming up in just 3 minutes. In the news this morning, a lot of excitement outside the new SSM Health Cardinal Glennon Children's Hospital building yesterday afternoon as the official topping off ceremony took place.
The new 14-story building at Grand and Choteau is slated to open in late 2027. SSM Health Cardinal Glennon Children's Hospital President, Dr. Hussein Morandi.
It will be a state-of-the-art building that will house more than 200 beds. It is mainly dedicated to high complexity care as we start to look at the needs and the opportunities that we had in regards to where pediatric care is going. The need is around very high complex care, such as ICU beds.
SSM Health Cardinal Glennon Children's Foundation has just launched the public phase of its campaign to pay for the new building. It's already secured close to $135 million in early philanthropic support toward its goal of $150 million. Fred Bottomer, KMOX News.
Employees of the General Mills plant in St. Charles have been given notice their facility will be closing.
The company says it expects to close the facility on June 8th or shortly after. A notice filed with state labor officials says the closure will be permanent. 163 workers will be impacted. Megan Lynch, KMOX News.
Also in the news this morning, we have Lux Living restarting a Crestwood project first approved 3 years ago. The Wayne Apartments and Retail will rise on the site of a Watson Road strip mall that's being demolished. Construction is set to begin this summer.
The developer dropped projects in St. Louis City, St. Charles, and Kansas City in part due to opposition from the public due to Lux Living's business practices. Several of the developer's top brass were facing federal corruption charges, which were dropped by the Justice Department after they hired former Attorney General Pam Bondi's brother.
Nick Bogner grew up in the restaurant business and jokes there's really nothing else he knows how to do. And he's no stranger to the James Beard Foundation. How many times has he been nominated?
I do keep count. It's 7 times now, so I'm pretty excited about moving on to the finals for the first time. The first one being from my mom's restaurant back in 2019 as a rising star.
Bogner's restaurants, Indo and Sato, have been nominated before. This year, Bogner made it to the final round for the Best Chef Midwest. He says St. Louis is well represented, and this year he's going to the awards banquet in Chicago in June. It's 6:15. Last night, a national champion was crowned in Indianapolis. The call from Kevin Kugler on Westwood One.
It's Smith. They have no timeouts remaining. Smith will bring it up the floor quickly. Smith on the drive to the rim. Missed the layup. Rebound loose. Scooped up by Gale. He'll throw it to the other end of the floor. Caravan tracks it down with 2 seconds. With 1, he throws it to half court. And since 1989, there's been a blank space in the Michigan Trophy case. Will write their name. Michigan, the 2026 men's basketball national champions. They knock off UConn 69-63 to win the school's second men's basketball championship.
They only made 2 threes on the night, but they were 25 of 28 from the free throw line. The Michigan Wolverines have done it, as Kevin said, the first time since 1989. And then there's that incredible stat where the Big Ten, for the first time in Division I history, a conference has 3 different schools winning national championships in the same academic year. Indiana in football, Michigan in men's basketball, and UCLA in women's basketball. North Carolina has a new basketball coach. It hasn't been made official yet, but according to multiple reports, the Tar Heels are working towards finalizing a deal with NBA championship winning coach Michael Malone to take over the basketball program. Malone replacing Hubert Davis, who was fired on March 24th. Malone had a 10-year run with Denver that included leading the Nuggets to the 2023 world title. He joins football coach Bill Belichick as another pro championship winner in Chapel Hill. Speaking of Denver, the Colorado Avalanche are in town for a 7 o'clock face-off tonight at Enterprise Center. The Blues need to win this one. They're 5 points out of a playoff spot in the Western Conference. A win would pull them to within 3 if Anaheim can also help them out tonight. The Ducks will be taking on Nashville, which currently is in the driver's seat in the Western Conference ahead of the Blues. The Cardinals, they dropped back to 500 yesterday with a loss to the Washington Nationals. With more on the club, here's Matt Pauley.
Second start of the year after throwing 5 scoreless innings in his first appearance against the Mets, he gets an ERA, allowing 2 runs in 5 innings in what turns into a 9-6 loss to the Nationals last night. Palante allows both runs in the first inning, where he gives up 2 hits and issues 2 walks. Manager Oliver Marmol likes what he saw from Palante after the first inning.
Palante early in that first inning, he was able to settle in and still grind through 5 and keep the score, which was good to see. Mixed in some changeups, which was needed.
Palante records 8 groundouts, 4 flyouts, and just 2 strikeouts. Matt Pauley, KMOX Sports.
Matt, the bullpen was not good after Palante. Brule gave up a run. Stanek gave up 3. Swanson 3 in what was a 6-run inning for the Nationals in the 8th, and they won it 9-6 over the Cardinals. The Cardinals made 2 deals yesterday. First, they completed the Sonny Gray trade with the Red Sox, acquiring right-handed pitcher Patrick Galley. He'll be assigned to single A. And high A outfielder Braden Smith. He is traded to the Cardinals from the Orioles for left-handed reliever Nick Rickey. Smith, someone to keep an eye on now. He played for Matt Holliday's brother Josh at Oklahoma State. A lot of people like him. He was a 13-round pick in the MLB draft. The Redbird Report, sponsored by Restoration One of Greater St. Louis. I'm Tom Ackerman on the home of the Cardinals, 104.1 FM KMOX.
Do you ever feel like people are mumbling more than they used to? Or maybe conversations at restaurants and family gatherings have gotten harder to follow? If this sounds familiar, it might be time to learn more about your hearing. That's why we're inviting you to a special lunch and learn at the Audiology Center. This event is on April 29th for various time slots. It's a relaxed and friendly gathering where our certified audiologists will talk about hearing and hearing loss, answer your questions, and share how today's hearing aids can help you connect with the moments that matter most. Hearing loss often happens slowly, and many people don't realize how much they're missing. It's important to know how untreated hearing loss can negatively affect you in the long term. It's a no-pressure event, just good conversation and good information, and lunch is on us. Seats are limited, so please call 636-441-7470 to reserve your spot for our free lunch and learn at the Audiology Center on April 29th. Take the first step towards hearing more clearly.
The reason many of us hate insurance companies is because some of them act like bullies. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. I've been dealing with these creatures my whole career. Whether it's a workers' comp claim, an auto accident, or a nursing home or medical mishap, the playbook is often the same: deny and delay. We became the largest injury firm in America for a reason. We fight the bullies. They know who we are, and I know it makes a difference for our clients. Just go to forthepeople.com and see our results and our verdicts after those bullies gave us their final offer. Hiring the wrong firm can be disastrous. Hiring the right firm could substantially increase your settlement. It's easy to get going. Visit forthepeople.com on your phone or computer, or call us on your cell at pound law, pound 529. Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm. forthepeople.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. Past results afford no guarantee of future results. Every case is different and must be judged on its own merits.
Now the news at 1 the fun. It's the Dave Glover Show on 104.1 FM KMOX.
How's your ride in looking? Hopefully nothing will slow you down. Roger Brand has the very latest at 6:20 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, we still have our trouble if you're on eastbound 64, Debbie, with this crash. This traffic reports a service of the Missouri Book Festival, April 18th in Washington, Missouri. That's the crash. It's eastbound 64 to East of Dallas. Still just the center lanes getting through. There's finally a bit of a jam approaching 270 on eastbound 64 now, so it's about not quite even midway back to Mason, though, and just a little backup south 270 on the ramp to get onto eastbound 64, trying to merge in because, like I said, the center lanes are open, so the left and right lanes are blocked, and that means the lanes merging on from 270 are impacted a bit by it as well. Northbound 55, you still have this roadwork jam from 67 up through Highway A. After that, it's also slow north of Richardson, headed up toward the Merrimack River. The right lane's a little busy north of Butler Hill, and from Bayless up to River to Pear is slow. Southbound 61, Wentzville Parkway down to 64th, seeing a slowdown. Eastbound 70 now is more of a backup from Highway 47 in Warrenton in toward that Wright City Rest area. Bring your family and friends out to the Missouri Book Festival on Saturday, April 18th in Washington, Missouri. You'll enjoy cooking demos, live theater, book talks, storytelling, and more, featuring artists from Missouri and beyond. Visit MissouriBookFestival.com for details. Next update at 6:30 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
AccuWeather's Joe Lundberg says we're going to see mostly cloudy skies today, maybe a little rain here and there, high of 57 this morning, the rain, then clouds break in tonight, low 43. Tomorrow, breezy and warmer, more clouds than sun, and a high of 77. Let's keep going because it gets warmer. Thursday, high 81 with clouds and sun. Friday, a little cooler, couple of showers and a thunderstorm, and high of 67. But we're back to limited sun, high 73 for Saturday. Right now, it's 45 downtown.
The news continues at 6:22. Today is a municipal election day in Missouri, and the polls are open until 7 tonight. St. Charles County's Proposition RT would expand the senior property tax freeze to all residents. Critics say the fallout could hurt schools and fire
The
districts.
senior property tax freeze eliminated $5 million in revenue, with a countywide freeze estimated to cost triple that. St. Charles County Collector of Revenue Michelle McBride says if enacted, freezing revenues for schools and fire districts would be costly in the long run.
Imagine working for 50 years and never getting a raise. How would you pay your bills as everything else continued to increase?
McBride says over 90% of all property tax revenue generated goes back to the schools, fire districts, and cities. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
Former Florissant Mayor Tom Schneider tells KMOX he's concerned vulnerable people living paycheck to paycheck will not be able to afford a proposed 1% sales tax increase if Proposition F passes today. It's on the ballot in St. Louis and St. Charles counties.
If this is a great idea now, it'll be a great idea next year. So I would not vote for this in April, even if you think you might want to vote for it, because we need more time to study it.
Schneider says some of the academics need to study this so at least the voters can be better informed.
In the national headlines, voters heading to the polls today in a high-stakes runoff race for a key congressional seat in Georgia's 14th district. This would be the district that was vacated when Marjorie Taylor Greene resigned. And it's drawing national attention as both parties look for momentum. WSB Radio's Jonathan O'Brien.
Since January, Georgia's 14th district has been without representation in Congress following the resignation of Marjorie Taylor Greene. Now, voters will have the final say on her replacement. Republican Clay Fuller bested his 11 Republican opponents in the March election with the help of President Trump's endorsement, and he's hoping that momentum will carry him to victory tonight. But Democrat Sean Harris won the most votes in the March election. A strong showing in the deeply red district could buoy Democratic hopes for November.
A state Supreme Court election will be held today in the battleground state of Wisconsin. While the race has drawn attention, it will not shift the court's ideological balance, which progressives expected to retain control regardless of the outcome.
The election pits Republican-backed conservative judge Maria Lazar against Democratic-backed progressive judge Chris Taylor. Unlike the previous two Supreme Court races here, both won decisively by progressives, this one will not decide the ideological majority. Liberals will still hold the advantage. So some GOP state legislators seem resigned to losing another election. Assemblyman Bob Whitkey.
I'm telling you, the Supreme Court is kind of a lost cause.
Bruce Marcus for CBS News, Eagle River, Wisconsin.
As the peak summer travel season nears and costs remain high, more Americans are skipping hotels and short-term rentals in favor of home swapping. Travelers are trading homes for weeks or months at a time, often at little or no cost.
CBS News spoke with members from major home swapping platforms about why this budget-friendly trend is gaining traction. Here's correspondent Evan Moon.
The house swapping travel trend is taking off, with popular platforms Home Exchange and Kindred seeing memberships surge.
This is a real lived-in place. I'm currently home swapping in beautiful Sedona, Arizona.
We met with two New York-based swappers.
I've hosted over 200 nights.
I've had a lot of guests come stay at my place.
They say the experience offers more than a hotel.
I have found that staying in real people's homes in real neighborhoods leads to a much more authentic experience of the location.
My home here is, it's big, it's bright, it's beautiful, and I love sharing it with people.
And as travel costs rise, the biggest draw is affordability.
I've saved tens of thousands of dollars with Kindred. That's just the bottom line.
Home Exchange has a $235 annual membership fee for unlimited free stays all year, no extra costs. Kindred has no annual membership with minimal cleaning and service fees per stay. Swaps are credit-based in what's called a give-to-get model.
Reciprocal one-to-one home swaps, or you can earn nights by letting another member stay while you're out.
Both companies have homes in over 150 cities around the world, from small apartments for solo travelers to family homes and even luxury properties.
It is 6:27, and the time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
I'm Tom Ackerman with this month's Siteman Cancer Center Spotlight, and we are discussing esophageal cancer with Dr. Raymond Jin, WashU Medicine medical oncologist at Siteman Cancer Center. Dr. Jin, thank you very much for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
What are some of the signs and symptoms of esophageal cancer? When should someone talk to their physician?
The first signs that I typically hear about from my patients, difficulty swallowing. They'll initially start with solids and then progressively get worse. So those are the most alarming signs. And then associated with that, pain upon swallowing. There might be a cough, weight loss. So I think the first step, if you have any alarming symptoms, is talk with your primary care and really, ask them if you're appropriate to be screened.
Siteman Cancer Center, national leaders in cancer. For more information, visit siteman.washu.edu.
My son loves to fly kites, but my active psoriatic arthritis can sometimes hold me back. Now with Skyrizi to treat my skin and joints, I'm ready to go. Skyrizi, risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection for adults, helps with less joint pain, stiffness, swelling, and fatigue. For those who also have plaque psoriasis, 90% clearer skin is possible with just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions and an increased risk of infections or a lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check for infection and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms such as fever, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough, or if you plan to or recently received a vaccine.
With Skyrizi, there's nothing like clearer skin and better movement, and that means everything. Ask your doctor about Skyrizi today and visit skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKY-RIZZI to learn more.
Spring into green with Seidenstricker Nobe Partners. For a limited time, we have 0% financing for 84 months on John Deere 1, 2, and 3E Series compact tractor packages with prices as low as $225 a month. Plus, we'll deliver it for free. Visit assenpartners.com or one of our Missouri and Illinois John Deere locations. Seidenstricker Nobe, your partner for the land.
Offer valid through 4/30/2026. Some restrictions apply. See dealer for details.
If you owe the IRS, you have a legal issue, and you need the Lance Drury Law Firm. We'll protect your rights. Log on at lancedrurylaw.com.
It is 6:30. We have cloudy skies, 45 degrees in downtown St. Louis. I'm Debbie Monterrey.
And I'm Tom Ackerman. Roger Brands in the overhead door company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Tom, there's still no change with this crash on eastbound 64 east of Ballas. Center lanes are open. There's still a short jam just back on the west side of 270 as you come eastbound on 64. Starting to impact Highway 270. North 270, first of all, is a little busy. Doherty Ferry up to Manchester. Then those right lanes are bogging down at Clayton Road trying to merge onto 64 east. And the South 270 delays come just south of Olive. And again, it's a slowdown there as well. Eastbound Highway 70 backs up briefly at 47. Then it's slow midway into the Wright City Rest area in the work zone. Seeing some heavier traffic now southbound 61 Highway P, most of the way down to Wentzville Parkway. It opens up before you get to the Parkway. It could be roadwork related. We'll keep an eye on that. Northbound 55, you still have this jam. 67 up to Highway A. It's pretty heavy from Richardson up to the Merrimack River. It's backed up from about the Union Road overpass up through Weber. Illinois side, westbound 64 through 159, and headed for the Poplar. Things still look great there. Next update at 6:40 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
We could see a bit of rain this morning. It was kind of drizzly a few hours ago, but otherwise it's just going to be a mostly cloudy day with a high of 57. Tomorrow, 20 degrees warmer, 77 with more clouds than sun, then 81 on Thursday. Right now, it's 45 and cloudy.
It's 6:31. It's Election Day in Missouri. There are contested races, including school board contests, as well as referendum issues at stake. Several counties are voting on a property tax freeze, as well as an additional sales tax to benefit fire and EMS. Polls are open now, and they stay open until 7 tonight.
One man is dead and another critically injured following Monday afternoon gunfire in the Normandy police jurisdiction. Officers there asked St. Louis County detectives to handle the investigation. No word yet on any suspects. County police say one shooting victim was found in the 2800 block of North Hanley, the other in the 7700 block of Shoreman.
A fire in North City started in the basement of a home damaged by last year's tornado. Monday's blaze was in the 4000 block of Newstead. Battalion Chief Jim Wiedemeyer tells KMOX how it may have started.
I doubt if it was electrical. There's probably no power to the building, although I had Ackerman come out and check that. Most of these vacant buildings don't have power to them. So we do have a lot of squatters living in our vacant buildings, so that's always a possibility.
There were no reported injuries.
The St. Clair County State's Attorney's Office has filed a Class X felony charge against a man accused of making a terrorist threat. Swansea police say the FBI notified them about 28-year-old Michael Gilliam's social media post. Belleville police located him and took him into custody without incident.
Data centers store, train, and operate AI models. They are controversial because they also gobble up power and water. In Indianapolis overnight, the politics of data centers turned violent when someone shot up the home of a councilman who voiced his support for one. CBS News correspondent Chanel Call.
Gibson said 13 rounds were fired at his home while he and his 8-year-old son were asleep. Some of those bullets landing just steps from their dining room table where his son was playing with Legos the day before.
The news sponsored by Michael's Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts, michaelsflooringoutlet.com. Your Money Minute is next at 6:33.
Who's been talking about St. Louis sports since 1985? Bernie Miklasz.
This is going to be a likable team. I don't know how many games they're going to win. You're down 7-1, and at that point, they weren't deflated. They weren't demoralized. They're like, all right, good for you guys. You hit us in the mouth. You drew blood. We just tasted our own blood. Now we're going to knock you on your ass. Let's go.
Bernie Miklasz. Hear what he has to say on the voice of the Cardinals, KMOX.
Do you ever feel like people are mumbling more than they used to? Or maybe conversations at restaurants and family gatherings have gotten harder to follow. If this sounds familiar, it might be time to learn more about your hearing. That's why we're inviting you to a special lunch and learn at the Audiology Center. This event is on April 29th for various time slots. It's a relaxed and friendly gathering where our certified audiologists will talk about hearing and hearing loss, answer your questions, and share how today's hearing aids can help you connect with the moments that matter most. Hearing loss often happens slowly, and many people don't realize how much they're missing. It's important to know how untreated hearing loss can negatively affect you in the long term. It's a no-pressure event, just good conversation and good information, and lunch is on us. Seats are limited, so please call 636-441-7470 to reserve your spot for our free lunch and learn at the Audiology Center on April 29th. Take the first step towards hearing more clearly.
It is 6:35 and time for your Money Minute from Bloomberg, sponsored by Eamon, Gantner, and Capriano, elder law attorneys.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. Billionaire hedge fund manager Bill Ackerman is tuning into Universal Music, making a bid to buy the world's largest music company for $10.8 billion. Ackerman is proposing a shakeup at the record label, which represents artists such as Taylor Swift, Drake, and Sabrina Carpenter. Ackerman says the stock price has taken a hit due to a number of issues unrelated to the performance of its music business, but can be addressed with this deal. Checking on your money, President Trump's latest deadline for Iran to agree to a deal is just hours away, and traders are bracing for a number of outcomes. S&P futures are up 11 points, Dow futures rising 112. And OpenAI is urging California and Delaware to investigate potential improper and anti-competitive behavior by Elon Musk in his efforts to block the maker of ChatGPT from restructuring as a for-profit company. Musk co-founded OpenAI, but started rival xAI in 2023. Courtney Donahoe, Bloomberg Radio.
The Circa Sports app, I'm looking at it right now on my phone, and I'm already thinking about, I'm scrolling through the Masters. Yes, this is Masters week. We're 2 days away from the first round, and just looking over the names, they have props as well. Let's see what that's all about. Oh, yes, that's pretty cool too. They've got it. They've got it at Circa Sports. And, you know, college basketball just wrapped up, but pro basketball is going strong. Hockey, baseball. I mentioned golf. There's so much on here. They have NASCAR. They have fights. They have soccer. They have it all. And whether you're looking for playoff futures or props on your favorite players and more, Circa Sports has you covered. Circa Sports isn't just sports betting. It's sports betting the way it should be. High betting limits, player-friendly pricing, exceptional customer service. Download the Circa Sports app today. That's Circa Sports, or you can just go to circasports.com. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Attention all dog owners. If you have ever listened to the radio or TV for any length of time, you've probably heard of America's #1 dog supplement, Rough Greens. Greetings, naturopathic Dr. Dennis Black, Amazon best-selling author and founder of Rough Greens here. And if your dog suffers from bad breath, itchy skin, licking paws, joint pain, or low energy, the truth is their food is probably to blame. You see, all commercial dog food is dead food. That's why I created Rough Greens. One daily scoop gives your pup the live vitamins, omega oils, probiotics, and enzymes that will bring their food back to life. Don't believe me? Let your dog try it before you buy it. I'll send you a free Jumpstart trial bag, risk-free. You just cover the shipping. Go to roughgreens.com. That's ruffgreens.com. Use discount code NEWS. Don't wait. Give your dog the gift of vibrant health. Order now. It'll be at your house in a few days. Go to roughgreens.com. That's RUFFgreens.com. Discount code NEWS for your free Jumpstart trial bag today. Rough Green. We make any dog food better.
Hey, St. Louis. Bob Stray here with Straight Windows. Let me guess, you've gotten some quotes on some new windows, and you had to look at it twice. I hear that a lot. That's why I started Straight Windows. I'm not here to give you a sales pitch. What I'm here to give you is a straightforward answer on what you need, what you don't need, and what it should cost. You're going to get quality windows, lifetime warranty, and no pressure. If you want a quote that you could feel good about, give me a call at 314-WINDOWS. That's 314-WINDOWS.
Hair Volume from New Nordic will make your hair look thick and healthy. Available as a tablet or delicious gummy. Hair Volume is available online at Amazon and newnordicusa.com or in the hair care aisle at your local CVS.
Tonight,
the Cards, the Nationals.
Ackerman Total Access 450. First pitch 545.
Cardinals Radio, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
It is now 6:39. We're going to check traffic and weather for you coming right up. But first, we need to tell you about the first ever 6th through 12th grade science fair next week. Missouri is holding it for the first time, and the projects are much more advanced than slime volcanoes or potato batteries.
Organizers of the Show Me Science competition say middle and high school students in Missouri are doing professional level science experiments. Competition director Jill Ott is CEO of Science Coach. Ott says this transforms students' lives.
How is a student supposed to know that they want to be a STEM professional, science, technology, engineering, math, if they've never really done a deep dive into it?
Ott says students spend hundreds of hours on their projects. Elite universities are paying attention and awarding scholarships. Emma Fetterhoff, a senior at Perryville High School, has been studying forever chemicals and has broken ground on a new testing method. Fetterhoff says this research has shaped her future plans. She thought she was going to do pre-vet studies.
Everything that's intrigued me, how much I actually enjoy it. I'm now going to hopefully graduate undergrad with a chemistry degree. You know, people talk about things that change their life. This has most certainly changed my life.
The Show Me Science competition is April 15th and 16th at St. Charles Community College in Cottleville. Megan Lynch, KMOX News.
Let's get back over to Roger Brand. He is in the overhead door company of St. Louis Traffic Center looking at that crash on 64 near Ballas, Roger.
Yeah, it's still out there, Tom. Unfortunately, this traffic reports a service of I-3 broadband. It's only the center lanes are getting through. Eastbound 64 to east of Ballas traffic backed up about midway back from Mason to 270 on eastbound 64, so be prepared. It's impacting 270. South 270 is bogging down at Olive. North 270, you've got slow traffic north of 44 up to Manchester, and then the right lanes to Clayton Road trying to make that merge onto eastbound 64. And like I said, it's in the center lane, so it's impacting traffic coming off from Ballas and 270 as well. Eastbound 70, a little heavy through Warrenton. Southbound 61, a couple of slow spots from P down through Wentzville Parkway. Not as bad running through there. Northbound 55, it looks like that may be a crash right past Highway A. It's jammed at 67. There's slow traffic from Richardson up to about the Merrimack, from Bayless up to River de Pere. Westbound 64 around 159 is slow on the Illinois side as well. Spring is here. Time to toss out that dusty treadmill and your laggy cable internet. Upgrade to 100% in-home fiber from i3 Broadband. Plus, we're springing forward the longest price guarantees ever on our GeekSpeed internet services. No data caps, just pure speed. Visit i3broadband.com/radio and start your spring off right. Next update at 6:50 from the overhead door company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
At 6:42, let's check in with our AccuWeather meteorologist, Joe Lundberg.
And chillier air is bleeding into the area from the north and east this morning, Debbie. There's a band of rain that's passing just north of the city at this point in time, so we'll have some wetness to contend with between now and lunchtime. Then after that, things will dry up, but the clouds are going to be with us most of the day today, and it's just not going to be warm. Our high 57. Partly to mostly cloudy skies tonight, our low 43. It becomes breezy and warmer tomorrow. The winds turn around into the south and southwest. Even with more clouds and sun, we should still get at least a 75, if not 77. Warmest day of the week, that'll be Thursday ahead of the next front. Clouds and sun, the high 81. As that next front comes through the area Friday, expect a couple of showers and a thunderstorm. That'll keep temperatures in the upper 60s. Clouds will limit sunshine Saturday, the high about 73. Right now, 43 at St. Peter's, down to 42 in Florissant. Rather cloudy, and 47 downtown at the Arch. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Thank you, Joe. It's 6:43 sports in 2 minutes. The Wentzville School District has agreed to train its board members on the Sunshine Law in response to the state's lawsuit over the district's bathroom policy. The state sued, arguing the district excluded parents from discussions about giving transgender students access to bathrooms and locker rooms. In the settlement, Wentzville schools didn't admit wrongdoing and don't have to pay a penalty, just train staff. The district says it respects the public's right to a transparent government.
An appeals court has upheld Iowa's ban on LGBTQ plus topics and books in elementary school.
The state law bans books containing specific sex acts from schools and restricts teachers from talking about LGBTQ plus topics in kindergarten through 6th grade. Teachers unions, publishing houses, and LGBTQ plus advocates had successfully sued to block some aspects of the law, but this court decision vacates those rulings. In a statement, Iowa's Attorney General called it a huge win for parents who don't want their children indoctrinated with inappropriate sexual materials and philosophies. Michael Wallace, CBS News.
Also in the news this morning, what do you do after you've flown around the moon? Here's CBS News correspondent Peter King with a look at what's ahead for the Artemis II crew today.
This is expected to be an easier day for the crew. The astronauts have a half-hour conference planned with the lunar science team to talk about their flyby of the moon, then some downtime for exercise and time to talk with family members. They're also supposed to make a mid-course correction. Although the flight path out was so good, some of those planned rocket firings weren't needed.
The science of the spacecraft and its mission are amazing to many. Washington University research professor of physics, Dr. Jeffrey Gillis, says the trajectory of the Artemis II mission is like a slingshot.
It's Newton in the driver's seat, really. It is a slingshot. So it's almost like if you throw a ball up, standing on Earth, it goes up, it stays still for a split second, and then comes back to your hand. Now, if you had a second object, rather than kind of stopping and pausing, coming back down, that second object, it pulls it around.
Gillis says the slingshot motion will accelerate the craft, which will eventually shoot out of the moon's gravity and re-enter Earth's gravity.
Well, it's 6:45 Central Time. The transfer portal's open. That's how you build college basketball teams today. Just look at your national champion from last night.
It's Smith. They have no timeouts remaining. Smith will bring it up the floor quickly. Smith on the drive to the rim. Missed the layup. Rebound loose. Scooped up by Gale. He'll throw it to the other end of the floor. Caravan tracks it down with 2 seconds. With one, he throws it to half court. And since 1989, there's been a blank space in the Michigan Trophy case. Will write their name. Michigan, the 2026 men's basketball national champions. They knock off UConn 69-63 to win the school's second men's basketball championship.
The call from Kevin Kugler on Westwood One. Michigan wins it. They are a roster built by transfers, and that's what teams like the team that they knocked off in the second round, SLU, is going to try to do. Mizzou has lost its point guard T.O. Barrett to the transfer portal, so he and Anthony Robinson II, both were starters at point guard this past season, go into the portal. There's a very good recruiting class coming in for Mizzou, but they are in need of a point guard at this point. North Carolina has a new basketball coach, and that would be Michael Malone. It's not official yet, but they are working to finalize the deal, according to multiple reports. Malone was the NBA champion with the Denver Nuggets. He had a 10-year run with Denver, that including leading the Nuggets to the 2023 World Championship. The Colorado Avalanche are in town tonight for a 7 o'clock face-off against the Blues. That's at Enterprise Center, and the Blues sit 5 points out of a playoff spot in the Western Conference. With a win and a Nashville loss tonight, the Blues will be back to 3 points out. Now to the Cardinals, and Who's Hot, Who's Not, sponsored by St. Louis Composting, growing gardens and making memories. I can tell you who's not right now, Matt Pauley. That would be the Cardinal bullpen.
The Cardinals bullpen continues to struggle early in the season. In a 9-6 loss to the Nationals, relief pitchers allow 7 runs in 3 innings and cannot protect a 3-run 8th-inning lead as the Nationals score 6 runs on 3 home runs, flipping the Cardinals' lead into a 3-run deficit. The club uses JoJo Romero and Ryan Stanek for a second straight game after each threw more than 20 pitches on Wednesday. Manager Oliver Marmol says they keep pitching themselves into trouble.
Got a little tough, and it forced us into situations where
the game's on the line at Wood, and you can't continue to throw 1+s on JoJo and Stanek, but you either lose it there or you take your shot. So we took our shot, and we were able to get the Stanek there with the big punch out as well, but long wait in the dugout. He goes back out, and they put some good swings on him.
Matt Swanson is the final Cardinals pitcher used, and he allows 3 runs while recording just 2 outs. Over his 5 outings this year, he has either given up runs or allowed inherited runners to score in every appearance. Matt Pauley, KMOX Sports.
Cardinals made 2 trades yesterday. They completed the Sonny Gray trade, picking up Patrick Galley, a right-handed pitcher. He'll be assigned to Single-A. And Single-A outfielder Braden Smith is traded to the Cardinals from the Orioles for left-handed pitcher Nick Riquet. St. Louis Composting, growing gardens and making memories. And St. Louis Composting is doing that for so many people around the St. Louis area, including us. What does that all mean? Soil, compost, and mulch. Those are 3 things that are going to really enhance and help your yard, your landscape. Now is a perfect time for a full landscape cleanup. Add compost to your garden beds to prep for planting season. If you're not sure how much you need, just go to stlcompost.com. They have an easy-to-use material calculator. You can figure out exactly how much soil or mulch your project requires. Speaking of mulch, we just did this. You can add mulch and refresh your entire landscape. Your flower beds need it. Your trees need it. It's the fastest way to make your yard pop with a beautiful, well-kept look. St. Louis Composting can do that for you. Go to stlcompost.com, or you can visit one of 9 retail locations all over the area. St. Louis Composting, growing gardens, making memories.
There's a difference between liking a house and actually getting it. Redfin is built to make up that difference and close the gap between finding and owning the home for you. Redfin agents close twice as many deals as other agents, so when you find a home you love, you're not a step behind when it's time to make an offer. That means less watching great homes disappear and more focus on the ones you'll actually move into and call home. Redfin helps turn saved listings into real addresses. Get started at redfin.com. Own the dream.
Calling all runners. Register now for the Cardinals 5K on Saturday, April 18th, and you can take a victory lap on the field at Busch Stadium. Don't miss this chance to bring the whole family for a fun St. Louis 5K race that brings fans together to support kids in the community. The Cardinals 5K, Saturday, April 18th. Register now at cardinals.com/5K. And for more information, just head to kmox.com/events.
Total Information AM. The news continues on 104.1 FM KMOX.
It is 6:51, time for us to get you a check of traffic and weather. It's cloudy out right now and it's windy. I can see the Missouri flag just flapping in the breeze. Let's see what Roger Brandt is looking at. He's in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Debbie, they're making some headway with the crash on eastbound 64. This traffic reports the service of Artistic Decks. They just have the right lane blocked now, eastbound 64 east of Ballas, so it's not as impactful. It still impacts folks going on from Ballas and 270, but it's a ways up after the merge on. So you got, seems like plenty of time to move over. Northbound 270 has a slowdown. Tesson Ferry to Gravois at 44, Big Bend through Doherty Ferry, and then north of Manchester up to 64. It's slow. It's jammed on the southbound side, though. Olive down through Ladue, and then it's just heavy to 64 after that. Eastbound Highway 70, you've got backed up traffic A into Bryan Road right around T.R. Hughes. If you're on southbound 61, not as bad, just Wentzville Parkway to 64, and 64 just a little slow briefly at Lake St. Louis Boulevard. If you're coming up 55, we still have this, it looks like a crash. Now that I can finally see it in the right lane at Highway A, it's still a solid jam at 67. There's slow traffic north of Richardson up through 141. Bayless up through River to Pears, kind of busy. Westbound 64 at 159 looks good, but it's kind of slow approaching Route 3 across the Poplar. Next update at 6:58 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Ready to hit a home run with your backyard? Call Artistic Decks. We're celebrating 25 years of A-plus service with massive rollback pricing. Get a professional custom-built deck for less. Hit it out of the park with Artistic Decks. Call 314-280-0821 today.
Weather forecast. AccuWeather's Joe Lundberg says cloudy and a 57-degree high today. Clouds breaking low 43 tonight. More clouds than sun, warmer tomorrow with a high of 77. It's 45 right now.
The news continues at 6:52. It is municipal election day in Missouri, and a former mayor of Florissant is speaking out against Proposition F, which people in St. Louis and St. Charles counties will see on their ballots today.
There's 30 different fire districts that have this. The state legislature was lobbied by the fighters union to allow them to ask for a 1% sales tax. This was over the objections of the Municipal League of Metro St. Louis.
Thomas Schneider tells KMOX the salaries of firefighters from around the area reveal they are flush with cash. The polls are open now and will stay open until 7 tonight.
Shrewsbury police have a new light blue badge for Autism Acceptance Month. The badges feature the frequently used symbol for autism, 4 colorful puzzle pieces fitted together at the center of the badge.
The department unveiled the new badges in a Facebook post last Thursday, saying many of their officers will display the badges throughout the month of April to display their support and connections with those living with autism.
Ever heard of a repair cafe? They give new life to old household items.
In Santa Monica, California, Fix-It man David Duran fixes things like old telephones, fans, sewing machines, dolls, and a lot more in exchange for a smile.
I really enjoy fixing things.
It's eco-friendly and a money saver.
I love the challenge of trying to figure out what's wrong with it.
Duran does most of the repairs for free, just showing up on Saturday mornings in his Fix-It Man vehicle at repair cafes throughout Southern California. Christopher Cruz, CBS News.
I heard it's somebody's birthday.
Birthday excitement. It's your birthday.
All right, we got some Hollywood birthdays. Francis Ford Coppola, 87 today. Award-winning director, one of the most influential filmmakers ever. The Godfather, Apocalypse Now, Need We Go On. Also celebrating a birthday today, Jackie Chan is 72. Russell Crowe is 62.
Got a lot of local celebrity birthdays today, sponsored by Renner Garage Door, RENNER, forward and back, family owned and top rated, RennerDoorSTL.com. Happy birthday wishes going out to Michelle Linhart. Happy 50th to Susan Adamite from her husband, Alan. Happy belated 72nd birthday to Mark Steyer. Also, happy 3rd, Riley Ray from Grandma Cheryl and Papa Mark. Lisa Greening is celebrating today. So are Lee Niehaus, Carol Loyette, Mark Elliott. Make that Matt Elliott. Matt Elliott, happy birthday from your family, and happy birthday to Harold Bursler.
This is the best birthday ever.
McKelvey Homes has been celebrating for a while. 1898 is when they started. McKelvey Homes, think about that, 1898. They're credited actually with building the first gas station in St. Louis. They have great history here in St. Louis. McKelvey Homes going way back. And 1898, that's 128 years of home building, commitment to quality, to prime locations, personal service, and building homes for generations. It all remains strong with McKelvey Homes. McKelvey Homes is the best, and they are offering so many different offers right now, limited time offers. They just had 18,980 off to-be-built homes. So you could select one of their 30 move-in ready homes and save even more. The Mid-American Carpenters Regional Council offered $10,000 towards closing costs for to-be-built homes. You should reach out to McKelvey Homes and ask how you can save. They have special financing rates. I've seen them as low as 4.99%. And with current market rates higher than that, the financing options can save you hundreds of dollars per month. McKelvey Homes. They're online at McKelveyHomes.com. Highly recommend them. Always have. Move up to McKelvey.
Beat the spring cleaning rush and call our cleaning heroes at Zero Res. Step into a fresher, cleaner home this spring with Zero Res. Spring is a time for renewal. Let Zero Res help you refresh your home with clean carpets, fresh floors, and improved air quality. Check out all of the raving customer reviews online with a 4.9 Google rating. This week, $50 per room of carpet clean for unlimited rooms. Call 314-474-2020 or go online at ZeroResSTL.com.
Hey guys, Kevin Wheeler here. I
want to tell you about Burn Balance Complex. It's the latest tool available at supplement superstores to get you moving down the path you want to when it comes to being in great shape. This is not a fat burner. It is a complete metabolism system. It's Burn Balance Edge for the guys, Burn Balance Zen for the ladies. So make sure you ask for the right one when you go in. But what this does is makes your body work the right way. So what I've noticed in a short amount of time so far, metabolism is great. I mean, you're starting to feel, in fact, I can feel it. Shirts are fitting a little looser. The belt pulls a little tighter. And on top of that metabolism boost, you're also getting some reductions in stress and cortisol levels. You're getting appetite control, craving control throughout the day, all day focused energy with no jitters and crash. And look, it isn't magic. You need to do the work. But I'll tell you this, it's a good assistant. It helps a lot to make the right decisions. So if you want long-lasting results, go to Supplement Superstores. Tell them Kevin Wheeler sent you in. They'll knock 30% off the Burn Balance Complex, and you can find your location at supplementsuperstores.com.
6:58. Here's Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Debbie, just about 40 seconds ago, they cleared that crash completely eastbound 64 east of Ballas. It's impacting South 270. You're jammed back north of Olive. North 270 has slow traffic, Sappington to Gravois, Big Bend to Manchester, and Clayton Road up to 64, but the northbound side isn't jammed. Eastbound 70, A through Lake St. Louis Boulevard is slow out west. And if you're on South 170, Brentwood to 64 is heavy. Next update at 7:10 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
It's cold out there because the wind's blowing. 45 degrees, feels like 37 downtown at the Arch. I'm Tom Ackerman. These are the stories making news.
I'm Sean Malone. A new audit has revealed the city of Arnold has been overtaxing residents. I've got that story coming up.
I'm Debbie Monterrey. An overnight fire in Godfrey may have been caused by an explosion, the latest after CBS News.
This is AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg. A bit of rain around this morning, otherwise mostly cloudy and quite cool today, high 57.
We'll take another look at the college basketball transfer portal. It is open as of this morning. Michigan took advantage of it last offseason, won a national championship last night. The Cardinals bullpen imploded. We'll get into that a little bit. And the Blues have a huge game tonight. It's all on the way at 7:15.
Celebrating 100 years of informing and entertaining. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. The voice of St. Louis.
This is CBS News on the Hour. Your home for original reporting.
I'm Deborah Rodriguez. President Trump isn't backing off threats to do serious damage if Iran doesn't meet his deadline of 8 p.m. Eastern tonight to reopen the Strait of Hormuz.
Every bridge in Iran will be decimated. Every power plant in Iran will be out of business, burning, exploding, and never to be used again.
I'm Vicky Barker at the Foreign Desk in London. A top general in Iran has urged parents to send their children to manned checkpoints, which have been repeatedly targeted in the U.S.-Israeli airstrikes. And Iran's deputy sports minister has called on young people to form human chains at power plants across the country, following President Trump's latest threat to attack Iran's transport and energy infrastructure.
Israel has warned Iranians to stay off trains today. Tehran has rejected a 45-day ceasefire proposal, saying it wants to end the war permanently. Vice President Vance arrived in Budapest for a visit with Prime Minister Viktor Orban, who's trailing in the polls in his re-election bid.
The president loves you, and so do I, because you're such an important part of what has made Europe strong and prosperous.
Orban has been in power for 16 years. Parliamentary elections in Hungary are Sunday. Artemis 2 is on its way home after making history. The astronauts earthbound after traveling further away from our planet than any humans have before, more than 252,000 miles. CBS's Mark Strassman is at the Johnson Space Center in Houston.
The entire flyby of the backside took about 7 hours or so. Today, the crew is in for some science, some manual flying, and some deserved downtime.
An appeals court has upheld a ban on LGBTQ plus topics and books in Iowa elementary schools. CBS's Michael Wallace.
The state law bans books containing specific sex acts from schools and restricts teachers from talking about LGBTQ plus topics in kindergarten through 6th grade. Teachers unions, publishing houses, and LGBTQ plus advocates had successfully sued to block some aspects of the law, but this court decision vacates those rulings.
Michigan men have won their first NCAA title in 37 years, beating UConn 69-63. Coach Dusty May tells CBS Mornings.
It crept in my mind that UConn might just be a team of destiny after what they did against Duke, and then how it was playing out for us. But fortunately, our guys made big free throws down the stretch and held on.
Most outstanding player went to Elliot Cadeau, who delivered 19 points for the Wolverines. Average price of gas today, $4.14 a gallon. This is CBS News.
The stars shine brighter on CBS Morning. This is a slam dunk.
So cute. Gail came in singing for me today.
On CBS Mornings.
There's a difference between liking a house and actually getting it. Redfin is built to make up that difference and close the gap between finding and owning the home for you. Redfin agents close twice as many deals as other agents. So when you find a home you love, you're not a step behind when it's time to make an offer. That means less watching great homes disappear and more focus on the ones you'll actually move into and call home. Redfin helps turn saved listings into real addresses. Get started at redfin.com. Own the dream.
I move mountains for a living. Literally. That means I don't carry hand lotion, and when it comes to serious heartburn, I don't mess around with anything but Rolaids. Rolaids' dual-active formula has calcium carbonate and magnesium hydroxide that relieves heartburn fast. Yeah, you heard right. 2 actives for that powerful relief. And the best part? The roll fits right here in my pocket, so I can get back to moving mountains.
Rolade spells powerful relief. Read each label. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
It is 7:04. It is cloudy and windy and 44 degrees in downtown St. Louis. I'm Debbie Monterrey.
And I'm Tom Ackerman. No injuries reported from a late Monday house fire in Godfrey, Illinois that may have resulted from an explosion. Godfrey Fire Department Assistant Chief Tom Wills told Fox 2 at the scene.
It was a pretty significant fire. There was flames at 25, 30 feet in the air. We could see them from the highway on the way up here, so we knew that we had a significant fire well before we even arrived.
Wills says they activated a second alarm to get more help in putting out the flames, which extended to a nearby home. He says a mother and one of her adult children who were inside the house that first caught fire escaped without injury. The state fire marshal's office will be investigating the cause.
An audit into Arnold's controversial transportation development district has found they are improperly taxing residents.
After the Transportation Development District tried and failed to use eminent domain on a number of residential properties to allegedly construct a connector off I-55, an audit has found they misled the public and for years imposed an improper 1% sales tax. The audit found the boundary of the Arnold retail corridor was intentionally drawn to exclude residents to keep them from voting against the 1% sales tax. Auditor Scott Fitzpatrick.
The citizens of Arnold are being overtaxed. This transportation development district existed for 18 years. It hasn't completed a transportation project in over a decade, and it's collecting almost $4 million a year.
The audit also found the funds are being used to purchase properties that may not be necessary for the connector, but for a larger plan to potentially redevelop the adjacent residential area into commercial real estate. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
KMOX has reached out to the city of Arnold for comment, and we are awaiting response.
Voters go to the polls today across Missouri. One ballot measure we are watching closely is Proposition F. In the city of St. Louis, only the 1% earnings tax is back on the ballot. The tax generates more than a third of the city's budget. When city residents voted on it last time, the measure passed overwhelmingly with almost 80% of the vote.
St. Charles and Jefferson County voters will decide whether to extend property tax freezes, which are like those already available to seniors in Missouri, but extend those to all homeowners.
The latest homicide in the city happened just after 6:30 Monday evening. Police say they responded to a shooting in the 1500 block of North 10th Street. We're told a man died from his injuries. No other details yet available.
A fire in the 4000 block of Newstead in North St. Louis did significant damage to a home already in rough shape after last May's tornado. Fire Battalion Chief Jim Wiedemeyer says fire started in the basement and they were able to keep it contained to that building.
Made an exterior operations, so we're just trying to save that exposure, which we did. So we just would like to save the exposure and keep all our firefighters from getting hurt.
He says the home was unoccupied, but with the power out, squatters setting the fire was a possibility.
An effort by Kirkwood residents to save an historic 19th century home from demolition has failed. A St. Louis County judge dismissed a lawsuit to save the Marquitz Garish house on North Taylor, saying the plaintiffs had no standing. The home was built in 1858 and has a local historic landmark designation. It's within Kirkwood's North Taylor Historic District, which is on the National Register of Historic Places.
From the KMOX business desk, a St. Charles food manufacturer is closing its doors.
163 employees will be impacted when the General Mills plant in St. Charles closes June 8th. The company sent notice to state workforce development officials saying the closure is permanent. Employees impacted by that closure will not be offered transfers to other facilities. Megan Lynch, KMOX News.
We'll check traffic and weather next. It's 7:08.
2026, I've been hearing from customers and friends that their utility bills went up quite a bit for their electric bill. That being said, and you're looking at buying a new air conditioner, or you're thinking, hey, I guess let's just get an air conditioner so it helps with the electric bills. If you have an old system, it definitely can help you. But watch your thinking. Just because you are told this is a so-called high-efficient air conditioner, it's not going to save you nowhere near what you think it's going to save you. Just replacing your old equipment is the biggest thing, and make your house efficient. An air conditioner is not going to make your house efficient. That being said, it's a great time to purchase an air conditioner if you get the correct one. Don't overspend. Don't believe the hype. In other words, don't drink the Kool-Aid. Call me, Bart Inman, at 314, one easy number, Missouri and Illinois, 314-293-2600. Again, the easiest of numbers, 314-293-2600 or bartinman.com. God bless.
Carpal tunnel syndrome, heart failure that doesn't improve with common medicines. These are some signs and symptoms associated with ATTR-CM, or the cardiomyopathy of ATTR amyloidosis, a serious heart condition with symptoms that get worse over time. Amvuttra, vutrisiran, is a prescription medicine given by a healthcare provider that treats ATTR-CM in adults to reduce heart-related death, hospital stays, and urgent visits. In a clinical study, Amvuttra was proven to help people live longer and have fewer heart-related hospital stays and urgent visits over 3 years compared to placebo. Amvuttra lowers the amount of vitamin A in your blood, which can affect vision. Other side effects include pain in the arms or legs, pain in the joints, and shortness of breath. These are not all the possible side effects of Amvuttra. For prescribing information, call 1-833-256-2748 or learn more at amvuttra.com. Ask your doctor about Amvuttra for ATTR-CM.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts.
7:10, time for traffic and weather. Roger Brand is joining us from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center. What's the latest?
Well, we have slow traffic out west, Debbie. On eastbound Highway 70, there's some slow traffic coming in through the Wentzville Parkway area toward Highway Z, and then from 64 all the way into Bryan Road, it's just bogged down. A little bit of it backed up, approaching Lake St. Louis Boulevard, but basically busy that whole way through. If you're on southbound 61, Wentzville Parkway into 64 to the Boulevard, that's pretty busy. After that, it's slow McKnight through Hanley. South 170 delays from about Ladue down to 64. South 270, all of Ladue is busy. North 270, Gravois midway to 44, north of Big Bend through Doherty Ferry, and then Manchester up to 64, all busy. We had an earlier problem with 64 at Ballas. They cleared it. That right lane is still closed. I thought it was road work originally, then maybe a crash. I can't tell, but the right lane's still shut down. Northbound 55 at Highway A, you're jammed at 67 up to that point. Richardson Road up to the Merrimack, slow, but after that, it looks like you got a pretty good run. And then on the Illinois side, westbound 64, west of 3rd Street to the Poplars, a little busy. It looks like we have a pretty good-sized jam. Northbound 159 looks like there's a crash at Bethel Mine Road. Next update at 7:20 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
KMOX AccuWeather. A bit of rain around the area this morning, otherwise mostly cloudy today, high 57. Partly to mostly cloudy tonight, though 43. Tomorrow, breezy and warmer despite more clouds than sun, the high 77. On Thursday, intervals of clouds and sun and even warmer, the high 81. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Wind's really blowing out there, 12 miles per hour out of the northeast, so it's 45 degrees, but it feels like 34 downtown at the Arch.
It's 7:12. Today, St. Charles voters will be asked to vote on 3 St. Charles Community College Board of Trustees positions. 2 office holders are running for re-election and have challengers, and 1 is running unopposed.
Gabe Harper is an instructor for political science at St. Charles Community College, and he tells KMOX after the pandemic started, this school decided to do away with public comment. But the pandemic is over, but the public comment never restored, even for students.
So to this day, the general public and people who work at St. Charles Community College have no way to communicate with the board. And over the last few years, there have been some decisions made by our school administration, decisions like abolishing the student government, moving it so more and more of our classes are taught by adjuncts or staff members instead of full-time faculty members.
Harper says under previous presidents, the board members were much more open and the environment was friendly. Harper says current president, Dr. Barbara Cavalier, does not allow students to have any input.
We have multiple campuses open that have been very expensive to construct and maintain, and these are for less students than we had in the past. And some people question whether that was really a good use of resources.
Harper tells KMOX he believes taxpayers and students should have a say in how the school is operated, and they cannot do that when they can't even get a response to an email. Maria Aquina, KMOX News.
Requests for comment from the administration at St. Charles County Community College were not returned.
Centene names a new group of presidents as it navigates higher medical expenses and federal policy shifts affecting Medicaid and Medicare. The Business Journal reports in 2025, the health insurer reported a $6.6 billion loss.
The new SSM Health Cardinal Glennon Children's Hospital building had a topping off ceremony Monday afternoon.
The new 14-story building at Grand and Choteau is slated to open in late 2027. Hospital president Dr. Hossein Morandi says it will expand access to specialized pediatric care and ensure the hospital can meet the growing needs of children and families all across the region.
I've always said as a pediatrician that a children's hospital really belongs to the community. We're here for only one reason, and that's to serve the families that need us.
SSM Health Cardinal Glennon Children's Foundation has just launched the public phase of its campaign to pay for the new building. It's already secured close to $135 million in early philanthropic support toward its goal of $150 million. Fred Bottomer, KMOX News.
We'll get back to our college basketball coverage in just a moment. First, it's our cut of the game, sponsored by The Diamond Shop, thediamondshop.net.
There's a swing and a high fly ball. That's hit deep to right field. To the wall. It's a gunner! A home run in the Nationals bullpen. Jordan Walker takes it the other way. And he hits his third home run, his second on the road trip. The Cardinals lead 4-3.
What a great start to the season for Jordan Walker. Unfortunately, the Cardinals bullpen fell apart last night.
With Ricky Horton, I'm John Rooney. Last night at Nationals Park in Washington, D.C., we had some ups and we had some downs, and the downs happened to involve a 6-run bottom of the 8th inning, 3 home runs by the Nationals. James Wood tied it with a 3-run homer. Brady House gave them the lead. C.J. Abrams added on a solo home run. The Nationals stormed all the way back to beat the Cardinals 9-6.
Cardinals would love a do-over in that 8th inning as things were going in their direction. Cardinals battled back. That was good news as they found ways to swing the bat. Thomas Sajaci with hits, Urias, Jordan Walker, some very positive things on the offensive side for the Cardinals, and also good defense with Sajaci throwing a runner out at the plate. And yet, at the end of the day, the bullpen just couldn't hold it.
As the Nationals broke their 5-game losing streak, the Cardinals try to get back in the win column behind Matthew Liberatore. He'll be opposed by Cade Cavalli. We're on the air at 4:50 from Washington, D.C.
The Cardinals play tonight, and so do the Blues. They have a 7 o'clock face-off at home against the Colorado Avalanche. Blues need to win this one to keep their playoff hopes alive, and they also need Nashville to lose tonight. Nashville will play at Anaheim. If both of those things happen, the Blues will be 3 points out of a playoff spot in the Western Conference. We have a new national champion in college basketball for the first time since 1989. Michigan has won the championship. It's the second national championship for Michigan hoops, and Andy Katz of Westwood One standing by with the MVP of the NCAA tournament, point guard Elliot Cadeau, a 69-63 win over a tough UConn team.
Just building habits throughout the summer. The first day we got here, we was talking about April, and we was just building habits every day for us to be prepared for this game.
UConn kept coming right at you. What was the difference in those final possessions to at least extend a little bit of a couple possession lead?
I think just finishing on the glass they were getting a lot of second chance opportunities, and once we shut that down, it was harder for them to score.
When you arrived here from North Carolina, how much did you believe that this was possible?
Man, me and Dusty talked about this from the first day we met, and I knew it was possible with the group of guys that he was showing me that was going to come here, and with the coach that was going to coach us.
And the transfer, Cadeau, came through. The transfer portal is open as of this morning. Mizzou has another player going in, point guard T.O. Barrett. So that's 2 point guards for Missouri entering the portal. Barrett and Anthony Robinson II. Sebastian Mack also entered the portal from Mizzou, but he didn't play a whole lot, kind of a combo guard for them. They do have a 5-star freshman who can handle point, Jason Crow Jr., McDonald's All-American. He's really good, but Missouri could use a point guard after those two entered the portal. No real movement yet for Illinois. As for SLU, Brady Dunlap and Kalu Anya both went into the portal. That's something SLU needs to watch here. They need to get some big men out of the portal. That is an absolute need for them because Anya is gone, Robbie Avila is out, and Paul Otieno is out of eligibility, not to mention a really good rebounding guard in Dion Brown. So they need to get some rebounders in this portal for sure. SLU, Illinois, Mizzou, they're not the only ones. Everybody is doing some shopping in the portal. As of this morning, there are well over 1,000 names expected to be in there. I'm Tom Ackerman on the voice of the Billikens and the Cardinals, 104.1 FM KMOX.
Game day comfort steps up to the plate Saturday, April 11th, when the Cardinals face the Boston Red Sox downtown. That night, fans can score a Cardinals dugout hoodie presented by Mercy, built for cool nights, late innings, and early season baseball. It's a classic, easy-to-wear layer you'll reach for all year long. Available in medium or extra large while supplies last. Don't miss this spring matchup. Get tickets and details at cardinals.com/promotions.
Every Sunday home game is a Kids Sunday at Busch Stadium. From Team Fred Birding games to a kid-friendly DJ, ice cream, and family favorite activities, Sundays are built for young fans. Plus, select Sundays feature kids run the bases after the game. It's a day made for smiles, memories, and Cardinals baseball together. Make Sundays your family tradition at Busch Stadium. Tickets and details at cardinals.com/KidsSunday.
It's Tom Ackerman for Budweiser. One of the great sounds is cracking open an ice-cold Budweiser on these summer days coming up with baseball and 150 years of tradition. Baseball and Budweiser, they go hand in hand. You know what else goes hand in hand with Anheuser-Busch? Sustainability. Electricity is one form of energy that they use to brew Budweiser. They dream big in everything that they do. And they committed back in 2018 to sourcing 100% of their purchased electricity from renewable sources to ensure their 100-plus facilities nationwide, yes, 100-plus facilities nationwide are helping to power a greener future. Just 5 years ago, they were proud to announce that they achieved the ambitious goal 4 years early. They were hoping to do it by 2025. They did it by 2021. So their entire portfolio of domestic products, including Budweiser, is now brewed 100% with renewable electricity from solar and wind power. 100% renewable electricity from solar and wind power. That's Anheuser-Busch for you, Budweiser. The king of beers, this Bud's for you.
Total Information AM on 104.1 FM KMOX.
It is 7:21. This is Total Information AM. I'm Debbie Monterrey, along with Tom Ackerman and Roger Brand, who is joining us from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center with the latest on your ride in.
Well, we still have heavy traffic out west, Debbie. Eastbound Highway 70 slow approaching Highway Z to 64, and it really remains heavy all the way up through Bryan Road. It's jammed to Lake St. Louis Boulevard in the midst of all that. After that, there's a little bit of a slowdown. Sunbelt doesn't look that bad at that point, really. Southbound 61, Wentzville Parkway into 64 to the Boulevard. That's heavy. After that, you got a good run till you get to McKnight. McKnight through Hanley's on the brakes. South 170 delays at Ladue. Westbound 64, just a little busy in the right lanes. Big Bend to Hanley. South 270 is clear. North 270, there are spots as you ramp on from 55 through Gravois, and then north of Big Bend all the way up to Ladue that are busy. Northbound 55 still has this jam, still has the left lane open through Highway A. It's jammed at 67. There's a backup briefly north of Richardson, but it remains heavy up to the Merrimack River in the work zone. The right lanes north of Butler Hill to 270. All lanes Union Road overpass up to River to Pear. On the Illinois side, westbound 64 from 50 through 159 is kind of busy. We had a minor incident midway between those two, and I'm still seeing backups actually both ways now on 159 right around Bethel Mine and Hollywood Heights roads due to a crash. Next update at 7:30 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
It'll be cloudy today with a high of 57 degrees. Clouds breaking, low 43 tonight. Joe Lundberg says tomorrow much warmer, more clouds than sun, high 77. It's 45 right now.
If you owe the IRS, you have a legal issue, and you need the Lance Drury Law Firm. We'll protect your rights. Log on at lancedrurylaw.com.
The news continues at 7:22. Missouri has never had a statewide science fair for students until this year.
Missouri is set to hold its first ever 6th through 12th grade science, invention, and engineering competition. It's affiliated with the International Science and Engineering Fair. Jill Ott is Chief Executive Officer at Science Coach, a major sponsor, and the Show Me Science competition director.
This is really professional level research.
Emma Fetterhoff will be at the fair. She's a senior at Perryville High School. Her project hypothesis:
can I detect peralkali chemicals in herkia utilizing infrared spectroscopy?
In layman's terms, she was looking for a quicker way to identify forever chemicals present in most Americans.
They're introduced to people through nonstick cookware and everything from your carpets, and they stay in you forever.
Emma succeeded. She cut the identification time in half. It's a process that's never been done before. The Show Me Science competition, April 15th and 16th at St. Charles Community College in Cottleville, will feature more than 150 student projects. Megan Lynch, KMOX News.
The U.S. Supreme Court has declined to hear a challenge to an Illinois ban on guns on public transit, meaning the ban remains in effect.
The Cook County State's Attorney, Eileen O'Neill Burke, who had successfully challenged a lower court ruling overturning the ban, said in a statement, "Everyone deserves to feel safe on public transit." She wrote, "Minimizing the risk from dangerous weapons is crucial to protect members of the public who use this vital public resource." 4 concealed carry permit holders filed suit over the ban in 2022. They argued they should be able to defend themselves on public transit. A lower court judge agreed. An appeals court ruling overturned that decision. An attorney for the plaintiffs, David Siegel, said they're very disappointed. He said law-abiding public transportation riders in Illinois are less safe as a result. Mike Krauser, News Radio 105.9 WBBM.
In consumer news, correspondent Jesse Mitchell reports on an important recall from Toyota.
Toyota is recalling 73,000 Corolla crossover hybrids due to insufficient pedestrian warnings. The vehicle's alerts could be quieter than intended or may not sound at all to warn of people walking behind a vehicle in reverse, increasing the risk the driver could hit them. Toyota says a free remedy will be available soon. Impacted owners will receive alert letters at the end of May.
The company behind ChatGPT is coming under fire with a lawsuit by 2 Florida attorneys who say that OpenAI may have instructed a Florida State University shooter on how to carry out his actions. This is WCTV reporter Matt Hoffman.
Now, separately, the law firm revealed they have 2 claims against the Leon County Sheriff's Office. One for negligently allowing the shooter to remain on a youth advisory council, and another because the shooter's stepmother is actually a deputy herself. So far, LCSO has said the shooter exhibited no extremist behaviors while on that advisory council, and that it's cooperating in the investigation.
A member of the rap group Migos has been shot.
The rapper Offset has been shot in Florida and is in stable condition. A spokesperson for the Migos rapper has confirmed the shooting and says he's being treated at a hospital. The Seminole Police Department says the person sustained injuries that were not life-threatening at a valet area outside of the Seminole Hard Rock in Hollywood, Florida. The police department did not identify the victim. The statement says 2 people were detained by police and officials are investigating the incident. Offset's cousin Takeoff, another member of Migos, was shot dead in 2022. I'm Haya Panjwani.
It is 7:26. An alleged wedding date and location for the Swift-Kelsey party has the bridal internet in full detective mode. However, one theory may have been dispelled. Here's CBS's Deborah Rodriguez.
Sorry, Swifties. Your math might be flawed. The luxury event designer who says she's overseeing a wedding at the Ocean House in Watch Hill, Rhode Island, June 13th, claims Taylor Swift will not be her bride, nor Travis Kelce her groom that weekend. In an Instagram post, Tara Gerard calls theirs the celebrity wedding mood board of the decade. Rumors have been rampant the Swift-Kelsey affair would be held at Ocean House near the singer's home on the coast on the 13th in honor of her favorite number. Deborah Rodriguez, CBS News.
Swifties are really into that math, the numerology. It's all like, well, her album was this number was 3, and then this was 13, and then if you add that, okay,
they're usually right.
You lost me.
Don't start doubting them. I see people are doubting them. Don't doubt those Swifties.
It is 7:27, and the time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
Insurance companies often have a basic strategy: delay, deny, defend. Some try to grind you down, but they have another tremendous weapon, a software called Colossus. They know which attorneys are great and which are not so great. They know who is likely to take the last offer and who will take them by their scalp, kicking and screaming to trial. They know that they have to pay some firms early and fairly. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. The insurance companies have done their homework. Before you hire a lawyer for your injury case, do yours. Visit forthepeople.com and see our settlements and verdicts for cases like yours. We became the largest injury firm in the world for a reason. When you hire the wrong firm, you may be beat before you start. All law firms are not the same. Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. Past results afford no guarantee of future results. Every case is different and must be judged on its own merits.
It's deck days at Lowe's, and the savings are stacked. Right now, pros get 15% off all in-stock composite decking from top brands like Trex, TimberTech, and Decorators. Plus, get a free DeWalt 20-volt max 5-amp-hour battery when you buy a select DeWalt tool. The deck's stacked in your favor with brands pros trust. Our best lineup is here at Lowe's. Valid through 4/22 while supplies last. Selection varies by location.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. If someone talked you into buying something really silly and you want to get out of that silly little thing, my advice, get the facts. Call me and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit absolutely free. Inside, you'll learn how timeshare works and all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free exit information kit. 800-909-9696. 800-909-9696.
Giddy up! It's the Cardinal Cowboy. Is your garage door past its prime? Get a free repair or replacement quote from Renner Garage Door. Renner is America's oldest family-owned garage door company that serves both wholesale and retail markets. Right now, get $100 off a new garage door when you mention this ad. With trusted brands like Delden, Amar, LiftMaster, you know it's built to win. Renner's also hiring experienced techs and installers. RennerDoorSTL.com. Forward and back.
RENNER, RENNER.
It is 7:30, and if you haven't poked your head outside yet, it's a little windy, and that makes it feel chillier than it's 44 degrees, but that's what it is now with cloudy skies.
I'm Tom Ackerman. Roger Brand, you're in the overhead door company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Tom, we're slow on eastbound Highway 70 now from about Wentzville Parkway into 64, and then it's bumper to bumper east of there all the way in through Lake St. Louis Boulevard. Picks up the pace by the time you get to Bryan Road. After that, it's just a little slow right approaching Cave Springs. Southbound 61 back to seeing stop-and-go pockets south of Highway P down onto 64 up to Lake St. Louis Boulevard. And then it's slow east of Lindbergh through the Interbelt. The Interbelt has delays from Olive, stop and go from Brentwood to 64, really in the midst of it. Westbound 64, Hampton to Hanley's busy. South 270 still looks okay, but North 270 has a backup as you ramp on from 55, and it's slow pretty much all the way up to Ladue from that point. 44 at Bowles looks a little heavier. Northbound 55, you still have this jam, still just the left lane open at Highway A, so it's jammed approaching 67 up to that point. It's slow from Richardson up to the Merrimack. The right lane's busy at Butler Hill. All lanes back up Union Road overpass to River to Pear. And on the Illinois side, we're backed up westbound 64 at 50, slow from there through 159, and then 3rd Street, a couple of heavy spots headed for the Poplar after that. Next update is 740 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
It's going to be pretty much just typical April weather today, 57 degrees, a bit of rain. We had some drizzle earlier, but otherwise just a cloudy day, 57, 77 tomorrow with more clouds than sun, and then 81 with clouds and sun on Thursday. Currently, it's 42 degrees.
It's now 7:32 in the news this morning.
If you're paying 9% in sales tax at the store now, you'll pay 10. So it'll be a 1% increase in sales tax, or a 10% increase in the amount of tax that you're going to pay on sales tax on every purchase at the cash register.
That is former Florissant Mayor Thomas Schneider coming out against Proposition F, a 1% sales tax increase that St. Louis and St. Charles County voters will see on their ballots today. Schneider says if the state increases sales taxes and you have 1% from Proposition F, you might end up with as much as a 15% sales tax.
Yesterday, President Trump addressed the nation once again with an update on his war in Iran. This morning on his Truth Social, the President of the United States says a whole civilization will die tonight, never to be brought back again. I don't want that to happen, but it probably.
We'll continue to follow that on CBS. Proposition RT, if voted by voters today, would allow all St. Charles County residents to freeze their property taxes, not just senior citizens. While property taxes only generate a small piece of the county's revenue, the fire districts and school would be hit hardest, according to Collector Michelle McBride.
We're looking at probably at least 70,000 more primary homeowners. So it would triple that impact, potentially resulting in $15 million worth of reduction in revenue to the political subdivision.
McBride says the districts would have to budget as if someone who was working a job, knowing they would never get a raise while costs rise.
Alton City Council members need a little more time to study a resolution that would hamper the local tourism bureau's funding. A committee session Monday night. In that session, the council voted to delay a vote on the proposal until at least May 15th. Great Rivers and Routes Tourism President Corey Jobe says the city of Alton contributes $436,000 each year to his agency's $2.4 million budget. Jobe says there was no communication from the city council to his office prior to word getting out about the potential scale back in funding. Supporters say Alton pays way more into the Tourism Bureau's coffers than other cities.
It's 7:34. The news sponsored by Michael's Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts, michaelsflooringoutlet.com. We'll check your money minute next.
Hey guys, it's Dave from The Glover Show, trying to explain The Glover Show. So when I was a younger man, I used to go to happy hour almost every night, and I loved it. And I've always thought of my show as being like happy hour. It's always interesting. It's often silly, but not always. You know, there are real things to talk about amongst friends, politics, and personal things. So that's what it is, really. It's happy hour for thousands of us every day between 1 p.m. and 5 p.m. And I hope you'll tune in and join the happy hour.
Staples presents That Was Easy.
So I own a coffee shop, and I wanted to label everything with our logo.
That's ambitious.
Cups, boxes, bags.
Ooh, that'll add up.
Not at all, because right now, Staples prints custom labels for 30% off.
30% off? That's shockingly affordable branding.
Yep, now our logo and URL are seen all over town.
Brand your business for less at Staples.
That was easy.
Shop Staples in-store, online, or in the app by 4/18 to unlock. Exclusions apply. Visit staples.com/print for details.
This is the story of the one. As a procurement manager for a hospital system, she keeps every facility in her network stocked and ready. That's why she counts on Grainger to be her single source for thousands of products, from disinfectants to lighting, air filters, and more. And with fast, dependable delivery, Grainger helps her keep every facility stocked, safe, and running smoothly. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Straight Talk Wireless presents Pickup Truck Wisdom.
The smartest way to spend your money is not to. Straight Talk offers free 5G phones for new and existing customers on Verizon's 5G network. So the refund money I don't spend on that free phone is the refund money I get to keep for my family. Smart.
Find us at straighttalk.com and Walmart. Straight Talk Wireless. Straightforward. Always. Taxes and fees apply. Plan purchase required for free phone offers. Copyright 2026 Verizon.
It is 7:36, and that means it's time for us to get you caught up with your money report from Bloomberg, sponsored this hour by Busey Bank.
This is the Bloomberg Money Minute.
Shares of major insurance companies are soaring this morning. Medicare announcing it will pay private insurers almost 2.5% more next year. It's a big improvement over the initial rates the agency proposed in January. The payment change is expected to add up to over $13 billion in additional payments to Medicare Advantage plans next year. United Health, Humana, and CVS are all jumping in early trading. Checking on the market, stock futures are looking at small gains this Tuesday. Traders are focused on the deadline for Iran to make a peace deal, the latest pivotal moment in the war. And a far stronger than expected 8-fold leap in quarterly profit for Samsung. Cloud service providers have been ramping up orders for its memory chips that are used in artificial intelligence data centers. But Samsung's strong financial results shaking off some of the fears of investors that the Middle East conflict is hurting spending on artificial intelligence hardware. Courtney Donahoe, Bloomberg Radio.
For nearly 100 years, Busey Wealth Management has helped families and businesses make smart financial decisions that stand the test of time. From personalized investment plans to tax strategies that work for you, we take a big picture approach, connecting you with the right experts to help protect what you've built and plan for what's next. Busey Wealth Management, here for every chapter of your financial story.
Hi, this is Steve Butts from the Crawford Butts Insurance Agency. In 2026, our agency celebrates a momentous occasion as we celebrate 65 years of service to our clients, a tribute to our founder and my dad, Nor Butts. Our staff is ready to assist you with all your insurance needs. So please call me, Steve Butts, at 314-752-2500 or at crawfordbutts.com. For auto, home, and commercial insurance needs, that's crawfordbutts.com.
If you are looking to the exterior of your home, you see your siding and you see your windows and you're thinking, man, when's the last time we did anything? Well, the call is to Banner Construction. There is no other company. You know, you love your home, and Banner knows that. Their goal is to make you fall in love with your home all over again. For the last 33 years, Banner Construction prides itself on quality craftsmanship. It's creative work. And they know that homeowners want to save money. We all want the lowest price. Who wouldn't? But this is your home. It's your biggest life investment. Please be careful of the people who cut corners to win your business. The single most important decision homeowners must make when considering a restoration project is who do you hire. Banner Construction is who you hire. They are a preferred James Hardy specialist, a preferred Pella window specialist. They have experience in putting in siding and windows that stand the test of time. Make the right choice. Call Banner Construction to schedule a free in-home consultation. That's Banner Construction, 314-569-1050, and have a banner day.
Straight Realty has always been an industry leader when it comes to commissions, so it should come as no surprise that the recent Realtor settlement has only empowered us to continue offering our sellers even better rates. We now list homes for only 2%. Hi, I'm Christina Straight, owner of Straight Realty. Call me, 314-441-4444. Why pay more than 2? You can also listen to my podcast on my website, straightrealty.com.
Commissions are not regulated and are negotiable. Straight Realty is a licensed broker in the state of Missouri.
This is the story of the one. As a procurement manager for a hospital system, she keeps every facility in her network stocked and ready. That's why she counts on Grainger to be her single source for thousands of products, from disinfectants to lighting, air filters, and more. And with fast, dependable delivery, Grainger helps her keep every facility stocked, safe, and running smoothly. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
This is the Gas House Gang from KMOX.
Bernie Nicholas and the Gas House Gang, today at noon on America's Sports Voice, KMOX.
Ollie Marble joins us today, the Cardinals manager. It's important to note that the bullpen had some issues, and we have some questions for Ollie. Right now, we're asking Roger Brand what he sees in the overhead door company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, a lot of traffic out there, Tom, obviously, and we want to talk about our USPS ground advantage reliable route because we still have a jam both ways. They're still working this crash, obviously, on 159 just south of Bethel Mine Road or Hollywood Heights Road. Backed up traffic both directions now. Old Collinsville Road is your alternate route to get around that restriction on 159, Old Collinsville Road up to Bethel Mine and take it west from there. to get around that restriction until they can get that crash wrapped up. Westbound 64, 50 through 159 is slow. You've got delay 70 across the Poplar after that. Eastbound Highway 70, Wentzville Parkway, all the way into Bryan Road is busy. 94 to 5th Street, Earth City into 270. Southbound 61P down onto 64 at Lake St. Louis Boulevard through the Chesterfield Parkways, east of Lindbergh through the Interbelt. South 170 bogs down at Delmar. South 270 Olive to Ladue is slow. North 270, 55 up to Ladue is busy. Northbound 55, still have this jam from 67 to A, only the left lane is open. Slow 141 to the Merrimack, and again from the Union Road overpass up across River to Pear. Next update is 750 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Brought to you by USPS Ground Advantage.
Another Haverty's Furniture showroom is opening soon in Fenton and Gravois Bluffs. With over a century of experience, Haverty's Furniture knows the best sofa is the one that fits your style, your space, and your budget. Experience Haverty's regret-free guarantee for yourself. A new location is opening soon in Fenton and Gravois Bluffs. Start browsing now at havertys.com.
7:42, and let's check in with our AccuWeather meteorologist, Joe Lundberg. It looks like a windy morning out there.
A stiff breeze blowing out of the northeast, Abigail. It's brought in some chillier air. We started out in the mid and upper 40s, almost 50, and we've lost several degrees as a result of that breeze. This is from a disturbance that's streaking through the area. Most of the rain associated with it is staying north and northeast of the city. By the time we get to lunchtime, most all of it's done. But the clouds will be slow to break, and temperatures really won't rise very much. That's why we've only got a high of 57 today. There'll be some breaks in the overcast tonight, our low 43. With some sun at times tomorrow, the wind turns around into the south and southwest, and it's going to be a big jump up to 77. Will be around 80 on Thursday with clouds and some sun. Friday looks wet, though. A couple of showers, maybe a thunderstorm, the high 67. Saturday, clouds, limited sun, the high about 73. Right now, down to 42 at St. Peter's. 41 in Florissant. It's mostly cloudy, and 45, kind of breezy downtown at the Arch. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Joe, thank you. It's 7:43. Airstrikes have hit 2 bridges and a train station in Iran, and Iranian officials have urged young people to form human chains to protect power plants. This coming as President Donald Trump warned that, quote, a whole civilization will die tonight if Tehran does not meet his latest deadline for the Islamic Republic to agree to a deal that includes the reopening of the crucial Strait of Hormuz. Trump has extended previous deadlines, but suggested that the one set for 8 o'clock Eastern time tonight was final.
We'll continue to follow that story for you. The upper middle class, now the biggest economic group in the U.S., according to the nonpartisan American Enterprise Institute. We get more from Jesse Mitchell.
Defined by individuals making between $77,000 and $230,000, or families earning between $108,000 and $516,000, depending on household size. Census data shows about 31% of U.S. households could now be considered upper middle class, 3 times more than in 1979, largely due to more women in the workforce. The core middle class, lower middle class, and poor income groups declined in the last 47 years, while the rich grew 12%.
Let's start with our parlay of the day. It's sponsored by Circa Sports. Sports betting the way it should be. And as I look at the Circa Sports app on my phone, I see the Masters. It's coming soon. The Masters opens on Thursday. Always a nice thing. You know what else is nice? The fact that it's on the Circa Sports app. So they have something right there. You can just click on it. It just says Augusta Golf. Bet now. And Scotty Scheffler is the favorite. I'm not going to say anything more than this. Scotty Scheffler can easily win this tournament. He is the favorite. However, there's something intriguing about Rory McIlroy. It's hard to win back-to-back, and he is dealing with some lower back issues, but plus 1425, that is very intriguing. I will say, though, if I were to pick one, I would go Ludwig Oberg. Ludwig Oberg is plus 1600. He's playing great. It just seems like he's ready to break through for his next major win. I can't wait to get into this a little bit more tomorrow with KMOX's Dan Reardon. That is going to be a lot of fun here in the next couple days to get going on that first round of the Masters. We have a new national champion in college basketball. Let's get to the call. Here is Kevin Kugler on Westwood 1.
Smith, they have no timeouts remaining. Smith will bring it up the floor quickly. Smith on the drive to the rim. Missed the layup. Rebound loose. Scooped up by Gale. He'll throw it to the other end of the floor. Caravan tracks it down with 2 seconds. With 1, he throws it to half court. And since 1989, there's been a blank space in the Michigan trophy case. Well, write their name. Michigan, the 2026 men's basketball national champions. They knock off UConn 69-63 to win the school's second men's basketball championship.
And for the first time in Division I, the Big Ten has all 3 in the same academic year. No conference has done that before. Indiana, the football champion, Michigan, the men's basketball champion, and UCLA, the women's basketball champion. No conference has had all 3 of those in the same academic year. In the meantime, we have hockey tonight at Enterprise Center. The Blues are taking on the Colorado Avalanche. That one is a 7 o'clock face-off. The Blues are 5 points out of a playoff spot in the Western Conference. If they can get this win and Nashville gets taken down by Anaheim tonight, it'll be down to 3 points. Now let's move our attention to baseball and KMOX's Matt Pauley on what's happening with this bullpen. It has not been pretty, Matt, by any stretch. It's Ins and Outs, sponsored by Innsbrook Resort, where every day is the weekend.
Bullpen continues to struggle early in the season. In a 9-6 loss to the Nationals, relief pitchers allow 7 runs in 3 innings and cannot protect a 3-run 8th-inning lead as the Nationals score 6 runs on 3 home runs, flipping the Cardinals' lead into a 3-run deficit. The club uses JoJo Romero and Ryan Stanek for a second straight game after each threw more than 20 pitches on Wednesday. Manager Oliver Marmol says they keep pitching themselves into trouble.
Got a little tough, and it forced us into situations where the game's on the line at Wood, and you can't continue to throw 1+s on JoJo and Stanek, but you either lose it there or you take your shot. So we took our shot, and we were able to get the Stanek there with the big punch out as well, but long wait in the dugout. He goes back out, and they put some good swings on him.
Matt Swanson is the final Cardinals pitcher used, and he allows 3 runs while recording just 2 outs. Over his 5 outings this year, he has either given up runs or allowed inherited runners to score in every appearance. Matt Pauley, KMOX Sports.
Couple of trades yesterday. They complete the Sonny Gray trade, pick up right-handed pitcher Patrick Galley, single-A pitcher from the Red Sox, and Braden Smith, a single-A outfielder, comes over for the Orioles for left-hander Nick Riquet. Innsbrook Resort, where every day is the weekend. What a great place. What a great weekend that would be at Innsbrook. Go to Innsbrook-resort.com to find your happy place, whether it's one of the condos on a lake or one of the homes on a lake. They got some big houses out there now, too. Just beautiful homes on Alpine. Aspen has great homes. We love renting at Innsbrook during the summer just for a weekend, just to get away. And it's not far. I mean, it's basically a staycation, 45 minutes from the house. There has been a time where we forgot something at the house. You can go back and get it and come right back to your vacation home on the lake. Innsbrook can do that for you. Go to Innsbrook-resort.com to check them all out. You know, I know that some people have bought vacation homes there and then they decided, you know what, let's just live here. That sounds good to me. Fishing, golf, hiking, summer living, year-round living. Innsbrook-resort.com.
Hey, Missouri, it's game time. Start betting like a pro with the world's largest sports book at your fingertips. Hi, I'm Derek Stevens. I'm a lifelong sports bettor, and I'm the owner of Circus Sports. It's sports betting the way it should be, with high limits, player-friendly pricing, exceptional customer service, and more. Download your new bookie at circusports.com. The action starts now, Missouri. Experience the difference with Circus Sports. Bet like a pro.
Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Get ready to laugh out loud, St. Louis. The outrageous Broadway hit Spam-A-Lot is riding into the fabulous Fox Theater May 5th through the 17th. From the twisted minds of Monty Python, this Tony Award-winning musical brings you killer rabbits, dancing knights, and non-stop hilarity. It's the legend of King Arthur like you've never seen it before. More information can be found at KMOX.com/events.
Total Information AM. Debbie Monterrey, Megan Lynch, Tom Ackerman on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Let's get you caught up on your ride in and the weather right now. Roger Brand has been keeping his eyes on your ride in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, it's still pretty busy out there, Debbie. Eastbound 70 coming in from Wentzville Parkway all the way in through almost to Bryan Road. There's still a lot of slow traffic there. After that, it's a little busy 94 to 5th Street, right around Lindbergh Cypress area. Southbound 61, slow at P, bumper to bumper, approaching Wentzville Parkway to 64, which is heavy, to Lake St. Louis Boulevard, through the Chesterfield Parkways, and from Spady all the way in through the inner belt area, westbound 64, Hampton to Big Bend, and then Clayton Warson out to 270 is kind of slow. South 270, Olive down to Ladue is busy. North 270, 55 all the way to Ladue is pretty crowded. 44, a little slow down southwest coming around the bend to Hampton in the city. Northbound 55, it still looks just like that left lane open through Highway A. It's jammed at 67. There's barely a slowdown through 141 now, but it is still pretty solid from the Union Road overpass up across River to Pear. Westbound 6450 through 159, and then west of 3rd Street to the Poplar is still busy as well. Next update at 7:58 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Looks like the Flores and Ferguson area is getting some rain, North County. Otherwise, we're looking at a high of 57 today with a mostly cloudy sky, low 43 tonight. We're up to 77 with sun tomorrow. It's 45 right now.
The news continues at 7:52. The Artemis 2 mission now headed back to Earth after an historic loop around the moon. The crew lost all communication for 40 minutes on the far side of the moon. CBS News correspondent Mark Strassman is at the Johnson Space Center.
Then came Earthrise, the planet reappearing above the lunar horizon. Mission Control could hear their astronauts again.
And it is so great to hear from Earth again.
And tell Earth what that experience was like, especially when the questions came during a congratulatory call from President Trump.
What was your feeling when you had no communication? A little bit different, perhaps.
I said a little prayer, but then I had to keep rolling. I was actually recording scientific observations of the far side of the moon.
That was astronaut Victor Glover answering President Trump.
One of the people watching yesterday's astronaut close-up was Dr. Jeffrey Gillis, a research professor of physics at Wash U.
One of the largest impact basins in the solar system is on the far side of the moon. It's like 1,200 kilometers across, or over 800 miles, and it's deep. It's like you could put Mount Everest in it.
Gillis says the basin was important for the astronauts to observe because scientists believe it shaped the face of the moon and because it's likely to contain rare materials due to how deep it goes into the moon's surface.
The U.S. Supreme Court has declined to hear a challenge to an Illinois ban on guns on public transit, meaning the ban remains in effect.
This case started in 2022 with a lawsuit filed by concealed carry license holders. They argued they had a right to defend themselves on public transit. A judge agreed, striking down the law on the books since 2013. That ruling was overturned by an appeals court, and the Supreme Court decision to take a pass keeps the ban in place. An attorney for the plaintiff says they're very disappointed. David Siegel said law-abiding public transportation riders in Illinois are less safe. The Cook County State's Attorney, Eileen O'Neill Burke, doesn't see it that way. She successfully challenged the initial lower court decision. O'Neill Burke said in a statement, minimizing the risk from dangerous weapons is crucial to protect members of the public who use this vital public resource. Mike Krauser, News Radio 105.9 WBBM.
How much therapy do you need to make a difference? Correspondent Michael George reports the answer may surprise you.
Could just 1 hour of therapy make a difference? In some cases, yes. The AP reports on single-session therapy, which is becoming more common as traditional therapy may be too expensive for some. The goal in single-session therapy isn't to solve a problem, but give people a plan to approach the problem. Studies show the practice can help with everything from depression to anxiety.
Also in the news this morning, we just did therapy, but how much can you top the new mom who gave birth on a flight from Jamaica to New York over the weekend?
This kid is destined to be a hockey fan.
Breaking news. We have word that someone has gone into labor here tonight. There's a baby being born on the 7th floor at Rogers Place as we speak. So someone's going to have a great story to tell.
Sportsnet's Jack Michaels with the play-by-play during an Oilers game against the Golden Knights in Edmonton.
It would be nice to have the mother join us on After Hours to describe what's happened.
That didn't happen. There's no word on the identity of the new hockey mom or how she and her newborn are doing. Deborah Rodriguez, CBS News.
It's 7:56.
I'm Andrew Stoles, and this is KMOX, the voice of St. Louis.
How are your trees doing? Whether you run a business or you're running a municipality here in St. Louis or your home, how are things? Gamma Tree experts can take a look around your property. They know every single tree. They know about the health of the tree, and they can tell you if it is going to be an issue. Also, thunderstorms, tornadoes, they can do serious damage, as you know, to trees and limbs. And sometimes, even with all the care that we put into the trees, Mother Nature is going to do her thing. Well, Gamma Tree experts can arrange cleanup. In fact, it's probably a good idea to put this number in your phone now. So if you do have thunderstorm damage, you can call them right away. It's a 24-hour line, and they will get you set up for cleanup. 314-725-6159. 314-725-6159. That's Gamma Tree experts. We can tell you we have used them for sure for any damage that's been done. Gamma Tree experts. Your trees deserve the best care. They've been in business since 1954. GammaTree.com.
Springfest means more sun, more fun, and more free at Lowe's. Keep your yard in line with an additional free Ego 56-volt battery when you buy a select Ego mower, trimmer, or blower. Plus, keep landscaping fresh with Stay Green 1 cubic foot garden soil, 5 bags for $10. Our best lineup is here at Lowe's. Valid through 4/8 while supplies last. Selection varies by location. Soil offer excludes Alaska and Hawaii.
Taxes was feeling so stuck. Sitting in traffic, squeezing into a parking spot, all to squeeze in getting tax help during your lunch break. Now Taxes is a TurboTax expert who does your taxes for you, while you go about your day getting real-time notifications about their progress and the most money back guaranteed. Now this is Taxes. Intuit TurboTax. Don't miss the deadline. File by 4/15. See guarantee details at turbotax.com/guarantees. Only available with TurboTax experts.
Glover here for my friends at Cantor Injury Law. Cantor is local, and we're here doing the work every day. We're right here in St. Louis, and we're ready to fight for you. CantorInjuryLaw.com or call 314-628-9999.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be solely based on advertisements.
Hi, this is Charlie Brennan. I see clearly now thanks to the doctors, Greg Birdie, Ranjan Malhotra, Robert Brusati, and Andy Royer. You can too. YourEyeDoc.com.
Here's Roger Brand. He's in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Debbie, still only the left lane is open northbound 55 through Highway A in Festus due to road work, so it's backed up at 67. After that, it's a good run till you get up around the Union Road overpass. It's bumper to bumper there, up through Weber, and then from that point up through Virginia is kind of busy. If you're on northbound 270 north of 55, up through Gravois, a couple of pockets of stop and go from Gravois through 44, but it remains busy all the way up to Ladue. South 270 approaching Olive, and then through that Ladue Road area, you're kind of busy. If you're on eastbound Highway 70, Wentzville Parkway into 64, still slow. A to Bryan Road, 94 to 5th Street, and a backup from 270 into about Lindbergh. Southbound 61, pockets from Highway P onto 64 at Lake St. Louis Boulevard. There's slow traffic at a couple of spots east of Lindbergh through the Interbelt. Westbound 64, Hampton to Hanley is heavy as well. And westbound 64, 50 through 159 delays. From the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
The trusted voice of St. Louis. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
This is CBS News on the Hour, your home for original reporting.
I'm Deborah Rodriguez. President Trump has made his harshest threat yet to Iran as the deadline he set for tonight to reopen the Strait of Hormuz approaches. He's posted to Truth Social a, quote, whole civilization will die, never to be brought back again if Tehran doesn't capitulate. Vice President Vance spoke in Budapest.
The president doesn't want to do that. I don't want to do that. That's why we're negotiating so aggressively.
More from correspondent Elizabeth Palmer in Tel Aviv.
Pro-regime media were broadcasting appeals for so-called patriots to form human shields around the power stations. And it's likely that some of the, regime supporters will do that later on today. But most people, millions and millions of whom can't stand their government, are just trying to survive.
Iranian media is reporting U.S.-Israeli strikes have hit the key oil export terminal Karg Island. U.S. oil prices have jumped more than 2%. Hungary's Prime Minister Viktor Orban, who's facing an uphill re-election battle, says he's grateful for today's visit from Vice President Vance.
The United States of America is the strongest country in the world, and I am happy to say that they are our allies today.
He spoke through an interpreter. Police in the Bahamas are searching for an American named Lynette Hooker, who disappeared while she and her husband were on a boat ride. CBS's Christian Benavides.
The couple was traveling from Hopetown to Elbow Key on the Abaco Islands aboard an 8-foot hard-bottom dinghy Saturday night. Her husband says she fell over and was carried away by strong currents, likely caused by bad weather.
What do you do when you've just made history by looping the far side of the moon? CBS's Peter King has the answer for the Artemis II crew.
This is expected to be an easier day for the crew. The astronauts have a half-hour conference planned with the lunar science team to talk about their flyby of the moon, then some downtime for exercise and time to talk with family members. They're also supposed to make a mid-course correction. Although the flight path out was so good, some of those planned rocket firings weren't needed.
The nonpartisan American Enterprise Institute finds more people are joining the ranks of the upper middlers. CBS's Jesse Mitchell.
Defined by individuals making between $77,000 and $230,000, or families earning between $108,000 and $516,000, depending on household size. Census data shows about 31% of U.S. households could now be considered upper middle class.
Breaking news, the British government's just blocked Kanye West from performing at a music festival there. This is CBS News.
Join Adriana Diaz and Kelly O'Grady for the perfect start to your weekend. Ease into your Saturday with CBS Saturday Morning on CBS and streaming on Paramount+.
At 8:03, we have cloudy skies, 43 degrees downtown at the Arch. Today is Tuesday, April 7th. I'm Megan Lynch. The Illinois Fire Marshal's Office investigating a possible house explosion in Godfrey. It happened late Monday in the 300 block of Meadowlark Drive. The Godfrey Fire Department activated a second alarm to bring additional crews to the scene. We're told a mother and one of her adult children were inside the home. Our partners at Fox 2 spoke with a neighbor.
Bunch of smoke and flames on the one side of her house coming up, and all the neighbors came out. They were trying to help wake them up or get them up, and thankfully everybody's okay.
This explosion and fire comes just days after 3 people were killed in a reported explosion at a home south of Troy, Illinois. A new state audit finds the city of Arnold has been improperly taxing residents for years.
A real lack of transparency here. They're operating in the shadows.
Auditor Scott Fitzpatrick, after his audit into the city of Arnold, found they are using a transportation development district to improperly impose a 1% sales tax on residents. According to Fitzpatrick, the city was unable to show on a map any viable projects, but continued to tax residents and purchase properties.
I think they want to turn that neighborhood into a commercial development. They want to have more retail. They want to have more non-residential development in that area. And they're using the TDD as a front to purchase these properties.
Asked about criminal charges, Auditor Fitzpatrick says he will make sure Attorney General Catherine Hanaway has a copy of the report, and adds they referred the Arnold City Attorney to the Jefferson County Prosecuting Attorney's Office on misdemeanor charges for misrepresenting himself as counsel for the TDD. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
KMOX has reached out to the city of Arnold for comment. There's a 1% sales tax hike on the ballot today in the counties of St. Louis and St. Charles called Proposition F. Former Florissant Mayor Tom Schneider tells KMOX he's concerned vulnerable people living paycheck to paycheck will not be able to afford it.
If this is a great idea now, it'll be a great idea next year. So I would not vote for this in April, even if you think you might want to vote for it, because we need more time to study it.
Many faculty and students hope today's election will bring a change on the St. Charles Community College Board of Trustees. 3 people running, 1 unopposed, the other 2 longtime board members. That's why an instructor of political science at the community college is counting on St. Charles voters to make a change.
Gabe Harper wants to see the board go back to the rule of previous administrations when there was public input from students, staff, faculty, and the people who are the ones who ultimately fund the school.
3 seats open on the Board of Trustees, but only on 2 of those seats is it a competitive race. One person is filling out someone's term who retired, and that person is running unopposed. But we do have 2 persons who are running for re-election to the Board of Trustees, and we have 2 people who are challenging them for those seats. And so what a lot of us would like who work at the college and who are involved in what's going on and deeply concerned about this is we'd like to get people on the board who are more responsive to students, to faculty members, to staff members, and to the general public, because this is a community college.
Harper says many in the St. Charles Community College, as well as the public, feel excluded. Maria Aquino, KMOX News.
Requests for St. Charles Community College to comment were not acknowledged. Proposition RT, if approved by voters today, would allow all St. Charles County residents to freeze their property taxes, not just senior citizens. While property taxes only generate a small piece of the county's revenue, the fire district and school district would be hit hardest, according to Collector Michelle McBride.
We're looking at probably at least 70,000 more primary homeowners. So it would triple that impact, potentially resulting in $15 million worth of reduction in revenue to the political subdivision.
McBride says the districts would have to budget like someone who was working a job knowing they would never get a raise while costs rise. Alton City Council members need a little more time to study a resolution that would scale back the local tourism bureau's funding. In a committee session Monday night, the council voted to delay a vote on the proposal until at least May 15th. From the KMOX business desk, and historic Mississippi River property in Lee May is for sale. The School Sisters of Notre Dame selling their 17-acre campus that includes their mother house built in 1895. Known as Sancta Maria, the campus has an asking price of $6.8 million. We'll get a check of traffic and weather coming up. It's 8:08.
New tax resolution firms are popping up every day with high-paid celebrity endorsers, advertising ridiculous claims in their TV ads. That's why they have the tiny, unreadable disclaimers at the bottom of the screen. Hi, this is Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm. Our ads never have those ridiculous, fast-talking, tiny disclaimers at the end because, simply put, there are no guarantees when it comes to the IRS and wiping out tax bills. And we don't make promises we can't keep. Of course, there are ways the Lance Drury Law Firm can help resolve your tax debt, but no company can guarantee it will eliminate it. This is why their clients call the Lance Drury Law Firm when those promises don't pan out. If you have tax problems, you have legal problems. Call me, Lance Drury in St. Louis at 314-260-6120 or visit Lance, D-R-U-R-Y, law.com to schedule your free consultation with your local tax resolution law firm.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Step into a world of mystery and beauty with the St. Louis Symphony Orchestra in From Mozart to Wagner, Mysticism and Wonder. Conductor Hannu Lintu leads a luminous weekend from Wagner's shimmering Lohengrin Prelude to the grandeur of Respighi's Church Windows. Pianist Jan Lisiecki makes his SLSO debut to perform one of Mozart's spellbinding piano concertos April 18th and 19th at Powell Hall. Tickets at slso.org.
The pressure on data centers has never been greater. Whether you're expanding capacity, supporting AI workloads, or building new facilities, Graybar works alongside you with the solutions, specialists, and logistics expertise you need today. We help you power performance every step of the way, so your operation is ready now. Yep, Graybar does that.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts. Total Information AM on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
It's 8:10 and coming up on Total Information AM, President Donald Trump has warned a whole civilization will die tonight. Iran has time to capitulate, he says, ahead of a deadline set for 8 p.m. to destroy every bridge and power plant in that country. We'll have more on that when we get analysis from an international relations expert coming up after traffic and weather. Let's check in with Roger Brand. He's in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Megan, we have either a stall or a minor crash on southbound 61 just south of Highway P. There's a jam just north of P down to it. After that, it's just slow getting on to 64 up to Lake St. Louis Boulevard. And from there on in, just east of Lindbergh into Big Bend, heavy. Westbound 64, Hampton to Hanley. You've got slow traffic. If you're on eastbound Highway 70, still a little busy. Lake St. Louis toward Bryan Road, the Blanchette Bridge into Lindbergh. We had an earlier incident there. If you're on northbound 270, Tesson Ferry through Gravois, a couple of pockets, but then from 44 up to Ladue, it's pretty busy the whole way through. 44, Elm to Laclede Station and Jamison up to about Kings Highway is kind of slow. Northbound 55, still just that left lane open through Highway A. It's jammed at 67. Delays again from the Union Road overpass all the way up to Virginia. Westbound 64 is bumper to bumper now, 50 past 159, and then slow approaching Route 3 across the Poplar. Next update at 8:20 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Plenty of clouds today, a little bit of rain at times this morning. The high 57. Clouds will begin to break tonight, though 43. Clouds, some sun, breezy and warmer tomorrow. The high 77. Thursday remaining warm with intervals of clouds and sun, high 81. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Cloudy skies this morning. We have 43 degrees in Florissant, 42 in St. Peters, 43 downtown at the Arch. This is Total Information AM on 104.1 FM KMOX. I'm Megan Lynch. As you just heard, a social media post went out this morning from U.S. President Donald Trump warning that, quote, a whole civilization will die tonight, close quote. Meanwhile, Iran's leaders are calling on people to form human chains around the country's power plants as President Trump has threatened to destroy those facilities tonight unless Iran opens the Strait of Hormuz. I welcome back Webster University International Relations Professor Danny Bello. Professor, thanks for being with us this morning.
Good morning.
What's your reaction to the latest rhetoric coming out of both Washington, D.C. and Iran?
Well, over the past several months, we know that we've heard a lot, but at the end of the day, what we have to do is focus on the actions. And certainly the rhetoric coming out of the White House has been different across time, but we'll see what actually happens on the ground.
Do you remember any point in history a world leader making comments like this?
Well, if we look at the world broadly, I mean, there are different leaders making different comments, but certainly the expectation is that all of this is going to be handled within the confines of international law.
Let's touch on that. President Trump has mentioned power plants, bridges, even desalination plants. Many experts suggest striking those targets could be a violation of the Geneva Convention because they're civilian infrastructure. What does the U.S. need to consider here?
Well, the challenge is that when we look at the infrastructure, especially in Iran, where the IRGC controls a significant percentage of energy infrastructure and much of the infrastructure in the country, it's very difficult to segregate civilian infrastructure and infrastructure that's used for military purposes. So when making those decisions, it's very important to make that distinction between civilian and military infrastructure, and that's going to be an incredible challenge, as I'm sure a lot of international legal specialists in the Pentagon are going through the list of targets and trying to make that very clear.
I think we have to note, too, that Iran has hit desalination plants in Kuwait with some drone attacks just in the last couple of days. You know, I think what a lot of people don't know is really the status of negotiations. The president has said they've been productive, while Tehran has denied there have been any substantive talks. What do you think could be going on behind the scenes?
Well, the key challenge is that it's very difficult to have meaningful conversations while active military conflict is happening. So certainly there could be some back channel conversations happening, maybe even indirectly between the United States and Iran. But ultimately, for any meaningful long-term solution to be on the table, the violence actually has to cease.
Has the U.S. given Pakistani mediation efforts enough time to work here?
Well, it depends on what's being offered on the table by Pakistan. I mean, Iran and Pakistan have a long-standing relationship. So when we're examining potential candidates for mediation efforts, those entities that will be successful in mediation have to have a more impartial position relative to the participants of the conflict.
So you mentioned, strikes might need to stop to try to get anywhere on negotiations. What do you think it might take to negotiate a ceasefire here?
Well, the key challenge is the negotiation of a long-term solution versus a ceasefire, and it depends on what the objective is. Ideally, all parties want to have a solution that is long-term. So negotiating a ceasefire means that there will have to be some compromise on the part of all those involved in the conflict.
And I guess part of that comes down to one of the stated objectives of this military action was to eliminate Iran's nuclear enrichment capabilities. This has been a point of contention for decades now. How do we get to the heart of that in talks?
Well, thus far, we've seen that the positions are pretty polarized. Iran does not want to give up its enriched uranium, as the United States and Israel want to make sure that Iran does not have enriched uranium to convert into weapons. So unless there is an ability to see a more common ground, it is very likely that negotiations will fail, and essentially we will continue to see what we're seeing today.
That was going to be my next question. Are we facing kind of a cycle now of perpetual conflict there in Iran?
I mean, the challenge is what we're going to be doing moving forward, because now we're deep into an armed conflict, and it's not just the United States, but also Israel and Iran. So making sure that we are aware that there could be a path dependence, and making sure that we see a diplomatic off-ramp from this.
Does it appear the United States still has the support of Arab nations in this action?
Well, what we know is that the nations around Iran on the other side of the Strait of Hormuz are being attacked by Iran, and I'm certain that they're unhappy, especially countries that have been, let's say, a little more lenient towards Iran prior to the initiation of the U.S. military efforts. So certainly being on the receiving end of those Iranian drones and missiles likely makes them, at the very least, unhappy and angry with Iran. So there could be a shift in perception of what Iran will be like as a neighbor moving forward.
So the deadline that the Trump administration has given for these strikes on key infrastructure is 8 o'clock Washington time, 7 o'clock our time here in the Midwest. At the same time, I mentioned that Iran is asking citizens to form a human barrier, especially around power plants. What are your thoughts on what could happen here and again, what needs to be considered by the U.S. and Israeli military?
Well, as we mentioned at the beginning of our conversation, we have to make sure that all of the military operations are done within the strict and pretty clear guidelines of international law. And certainly Iran sending civilians or encouraging civilians to form human chains, essentially an unlawful practice where military goals are done by putting human shields in the way, and that's absolutely not just unethical, but also unlawful. So hopefully Iran will reconsider encouraging such actions on behalf of civilians.
That is Webster University International Relations Professor Danny Bello. Thank you, Professor, for joining us this morning.
Thank you for having me.
Let's get a check of the roads now with Roger Brand. He's in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Megan, we still have this jam on southbound 61. We have, I don't know if it's a crash or a stall south of Highway P. It's jammed more than midway back to W now, so just be prepared once you get past it. 64 is just a little slow at Prospect, and then 64 has heavy traffic east of Lindbergh into Big Bend. Westbound 64, Hampton to Hanley's heavy. Northbound 270, let's call it Gravelly to Ladue is slow. Eastbound 44, Jameson to Kings Highway, still kind of heavy there. Still this jam, northbound 55, only left lanes open at A. It's jammed at 67. Delays from the Union Road overpass up through Holly Hills. Westbound 64, 50 through 159. You've still got heavy traffic, but it looks good across the Poplar now. Next update at 8:30 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Mostly cloudy skies today. We're expecting a high around 57 degrees. Clouds breaking tonight with an overnight low of 43. And then breezy and warmer tomorrow. We'll have more clouds and sun, a high of 77. Right now we have cloudy skies, 43 degrees downtown at the Arch. Still ahead on Total Information AM. Your boss may be using AI to determine whether you're worth keeping. What you need to know coming up.
This report is sponsored by McKelvey Homes.
Want a new home in Cottleville? Check out Cottleville Trails by McKelvey Homes. Take a golf cart or walk to downtown Cottleville. Visit McKelveyHomes.com today to learn more about the incredible homes in Cottleville Trails and move up to McKelvey.
Hey guys, Kevin Wheeler here. I want to tell you about
Burn Balance Complex. It's the latest tool available at supplement superstores to get you moving down the path you want to when it comes to being in great shape. This is not a fat burner. It is a complete metabolism system. It's Burn Balance Edge for the guys, Burn Balance Zen for the ladies. So make sure you ask for the right one when you go in. But what this does is makes your body work the right way. So what I've noticed in a short amount of time so far, metabolism is great. I mean, you're starting to feel, in fact, I can feel it. Shirts are fitting a little looser. The belt pulls a little tighter. And on top of that metabolism boost, you're also getting some reductions in stress and cortisol levels. You're getting appetite control, craving control throughout the day, all day focused energy with no jitters and crash. And look, it isn't magic. You need to do the work. But I'll tell you this, it's a good assistant. It helps a lot to make the right decisions. So if you want long-lasting results, go to Supplement Superstores. Tell them Kevin Wheeler sent you in. They'll knock 30% off the Burn Balance Complex, and you can find your location at supplementsuperstores.com.
There's a difference between liking a house and actually getting it. Redfin is built to make up that difference and close the gap between finding and owning the home for you. Redfin agents close twice as many deals as other agents. So when you find a home you love, you're not a step behind when it's time to make an offer. That means less watching great homes disappear and more focus on the ones you'll actually move into and call home. Redfin helps turn saved listings into real addresses. Get started at redfin.com. Own the dream.
You know that Big Bargain detergent jug is 80% water, right? It doesn't clean as well.
80% water? I thought I was getting a better deal because it's so big.
If you want a better clean, Tide Pods are only 12% water. The rest is pure, concentrated cleaning ingredients.
Oh, let me make an announcement. Attention shoppers, if you want a real deal, try Tide Pods.
Stop paying for watered-down detergents. Pay for clean. If it's got to be clean, it's got to be Tide Pods. Water content based on the leading bargain liquid detergent.
Nothing makes a gathering great like Eggland's Best Eggs. They're just so delicious with better nutrition, too. For us, it's eggs any style, as long as they're the best. Eggland's Best. Better taste, better nutrition, better eggs.
Is artificial intelligence influencing the way your boss looks at you? Neil Sahota is an IBM master inventor, United Nations AI advisor, AI strategist, and author. Sahota says companies are using AI to help make decisions about employees. How? Well, for one, Sahota says businesses are using artificial intelligence to monitor your communication style.
They're looking at things like the way you talk, the way you write, the way you engage clients, your performance, how you model risk. So, and all this stuff actually influences managers down how they assess and rate employees, especially when it comes to things like raises, promotions, or even layoffs, and sometimes hiring decisions.
Sahota points out companies can use AI to track the tone of your emails using neurolinguistics.
And so the way we actually communicate is almost like a fingerprint. And so just by your word choice, your phrasing, you can actually detect your level of commitment, your interest, and are you actually resonating with whoever you're communicating with?
I asked Sahota whether employees should be worried that there could be some bias in these systems.
Oh, absolutely. You know, we say all data is biased and AI is taught, not programmed, and so its features can be biased. And AI will pick up those things to be very subtle. But just even the way men and women write, the words that they use is actually different. And so we could actually introduce, and this happened to Amazon a few years ago, where they were using some of these AI tools for hiring. And because they kind of were overstacked with more men hires than female, the AI effectively learned to deprioritize the way women would communicate.
And an AI agent might know if an employee is getting ready to leave or is so dissatisfied they might leave.
There are subtle signals people give out. They're like verbal clues, sometimes visual clues, new behavioral clues that start building up, we see 6 months in advance, that signal like flight risk, that unfortunately we as people sometimes just lose in the noise of communication. And yeah, it's super good at picking up that.
Employees don't typically have access to this AI analysis. What can you do to protect yourself?
Well, first and foremost, I tell everyone, stop sending sloppy emails, right? Because that's unfortunately a big telltale for AI these days. You gotta avoid emotionally reactive statements. You know, sometimes you see something on like Slack and
we kind of jump the gun, speak from the heart or from the hip. We have to learn to stop doing that. So we have to think about now when we communicate, we're going to deliver our status or updates and measurable results-based language, because that's what the AI has been taught to prioritize in terms of value.
That's author, inventor, and AI strategist Neil Sahota. It's now 8:27, and this time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
Hi, Margaret with Eamon Gantner and Capriano. We all procrastinate. We put things off, confident we'll have time later. Well, one who procrastinates in choosing will inevitably have their choices made for them by circumstance. Could be an illness or even a death. And it happened to me. I was widowed at 41. It could happen to you. If you procrastinate and fail to plan for your future, for your children, circumstances and the courts will make your plans for you without your input. Eamon Gantner and Capriano help thousands of families plan for their future now. We can be your personal attorney too, guiding you with a will, trust, powers of attorney, Medicaid, and VA. You may delay, but time does not. Eamon Gantner and Capriano, yourestateMatters.com.
The choice of an attorney is an important decision and shouldn't be based solely on advertising.
Attention all dog owners. If you have ever listened to the radio or TV for any length of time, you've probably heard of America's #1 dog supplement, Rough Greens. Greetings, naturopathic Dr. Dennis Black, Amazon best-selling author and founder of Rough Greens here. And if your dog suffers from bad breath, itchy skin, licking paws, joint pain, or low energy, the truth is their food is probably to blame. You see, all commercial dog food is dead food. That's why I created Rough Greens. One daily scoop gives your pup the live vitamins, omega oils, probiotics, and enzymes that will bring their food back to life. Don't believe me? Let your dog try it before you buy it. I'll send you a free Jumpstart trial bag, risk-free. You just cover the shipping. Go to roughgreens.com. That's ruffgreens.com. Use discount code NEWS. Don't wait. Give your dog the gift of vibrant health. Order now. It'll be at your house in a few days. Go to roughgreens.com. That's ruffgreens.com. Discount code NEWS for your free Jumpstart trial bag today. Rough Green. We make any dog food better.
Everyone needs to have at least one person in their corner in life. When you don't, it's an extremely lonely and frightening place to be. But knowing you have that one person gives you peace and hope. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Since 1988, myself and my firm have been in so many corners for so many clients for so many years. We became the largest injury firm in the world for a reason, and it's not even close. We fought like hell for you. We fight the bullies, automobile insurance companies, the makers of unsafe products, medical providers who injured or killed their own patients. It has been such an honor and made my life complete. If you ever need us, it's easy. On your mobile device or computer, visit forthepeople.com, and then we get to work 24/7. Whether you're hurt in a car crash, injured on the job, or have questions about your Social Security, we're here for you. Morgan & Morgan, for the people.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. Past results afford no guarantee of future results. Every case is different and must be judged on its own merits.
Hear me out on this. Let's say, for the sake of argument, you do have a wife or a significant other.
Yeah.
There's just a huge problem in your life. And then you win a giant jackpot. Mm-hmm. Don't you feel like this is your opportunity to just leave town?
You're not going to file papers now, because now you're going to be legally bound to this lady.
That's what you get the lawyer for.
You're not even married and you're fantasizing about leaving your wife.
The Chris and Amy Show, weekdays starting at 9 on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
You're listening to Total Information AM here on KMOX. Coming up, we're going to talk about a plan by the Illinois governor to try to have year-round use of E15 gasoline. What could that mean? It might mean cheaper gas. We're going to check in with Gas Buddy's Patrick DeHaan in just a moment. First, let's check on how your ride into work is going, no matter what fuel blend you're using. Roger Brand is in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, we still got our backup, Megan, on southbound 61. This traffic reports a service of the Missouri Book Festival, April 18th in Washington, Missouri. It's a jam from basically Highway W down through P. We had an incident just south of P. It looks like they may have been getting it moved out of the traffic lanes, but it's still solid bumper to bumper all the way through there, W to P on southbound 61. If you're on northbound 270, primarily 44 up to Ladou's busy. Eastbound 64, Lindbergh into Big Bend's heavy. Westbound 64, Hampton to Hanley delays. Still this jam Only left lane left lane's open northbound 55 at A. It's jammed at 67. There's still slow traffic from the Union Road overpass up across River to Pear and westbound 6450 through 159 headed in. It's slow, but once you get past that point, it's okay across the Poplar now. Bring your family and friends out to the Missouri Book Festival on Saturday, April 18th in Washington, Missouri. You'll enjoy cooking demos, live theater, book talks, storytelling, and more, featuring authors from Missouri and beyond. Visit MissouriBookFestival.com for details. Next update at 8:40 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Thank you, Roger. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, it looks like we're expecting mostly cloudy skies today with a high of 57. Clouds breaking tonight with an overnight low of 43. And then tomorrow, breezy and warmer, more clouds than sun. We're expecting a high of 77 degrees. For Thursday, a mix of clouds and sun, a warmer day even, a high of 81. Right now, we have cloudy skies, 43 degrees downtown at the Arch.
This is the story of the one. As a procurement manager for a hospital system, she keeps every facility in her network stocked and ready. That's why she counts on Grainger to be her single source for thousands of products, from disinfectants to lighting, air filters, and more. And with fast, dependable delivery, Grainger helps her keep every facility stocked, safe, and running smoothly. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
At Easy Cater, we believe every workday gets better with great food. The 9 a.m. staff meeting? How about breakfast burritos and lots of coffee? Big client presentation at noon? Let's do Mediterranean bowls. Accounting's gotta work late. Keep them pepped up with spicy noodles. With Easy Cater, you get a huge variety of favorite restaurants with tools to help meet dietary needs and stay on budget, all on one platform. So make every workday better with Easy Cater. Start an order at easycater.com.
It's no secret that many drivers in the Metro East cross the river to fill up their cars because you can typically get a better price on gasoline. The average price of gas in the St. Louis Metro today around $3.90 a gallon. That's compared to roughly $4.30 on the Illinois side. In the midst of these gas price spikes, Governor J.B. Pritzker is asking Congress to approve permanent year-round use of E15 gasoline and ethanol blend. Let's bring in Patrick DeHaan, Gas Buddy Vice President of Petroleum Analysis. Patrick, is E15 an answer?
Well, it's certainly another option for consumers if they can find it. E15 is still more of a niche fuel, although more and more stations that are being built will include it in offerings. A lot of older stations may not. It is not something that you'll generally find very easily. When you do find it, though, it generally would sell at approximately 10 to 20 cent a gallon discount to that of regular 87 octane with up to 10% ethanol. And that's really the difference here, is that it's a slight increase in ethanol. It's a separate product. It's a separate pump handle with separate labels. Sometimes they've called it unleaded 88. It contains a little bit more ethanol, and like I said, the price point can be lower, but it may be a little bit difficult to find it.
Patrick, what's been the hesitation in making E15 available year-round? It's my understanding it's usually like an emergency waiver that they give for this.
Well, you know, going through the process, and this gets a little bit more technical in nature, E15 has never been approved for a waiver that traditional summer gasoline gets. June 15th through September 15th, or excuse me, June 1st through September 15th. And it's this little technicality that has basically held up E15 from being able to be sold during the summer months when summer gasoline is required. Whereas the traditional gasoline counterpart has gotten a waiver allowing it to be sold during the summer, E15 has not. So just a little bit of a technicality. And, you know, we've seen this the last few years, you know, under President Biden, under President Trump, that these temporary waivers are allowed to continue every 20 days or so. And that has allowed E15 to be sold the last few summers. But it's that small technicality that Governor Pritzker is likely referring to. He wants a full-time solution so that this doesn't have to be addressed every year.
Bottom line, what do consumers need to know?
Well, at least for now, if and where you can find E15, it generally trades at a slight discount. And of course, with prices, as you mentioned, St. Louis hovering just under that $4 a gallon mark, prices now up 93 cents a gallon from last year. This is a common sense solution that may offer consumers a slightly cheaper option.
Patrick, thanks so much. Appreciate your time this morning.
Thanks for having me.
That is Patrick DeHaan, Gas Buddy Vice President of Petroleum Analysis, joining us here on KMOX. Your money next.
It's Deck Days at Lowe's, and the savings are stacked. Right now, pros get 15% off all in-stock composite decking from top brands like Trex, TimberTech, and Decorators. Plus, get a free DeWalt 20-volt max 5-amp-hour battery when you buy a select DeWalt tool. The deck's stacked in your favor with brands pros trust. Our best lineup is here at Lowe's. Valid through 4/22 while supplies last. Selection varies by location.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. If someone talked you into buying something really silly and you want to get out of that silly little thing, my advice, get the facts. Call me and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit absolutely free. Inside, you'll learn how timeshare works and all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free exit information kit. 800-909-9696. 800-909-9696.
Your Money Report now, sponsored by Eamon Gantner and Capriano Elder Law Attorneys. Here's Bloomberg's Courtney Donahoe.
Drug giant Novo Nordisk will price its new high-dose Wegovy shot at $399 a month for patients who pay cash for the weight loss treatment. This undercuts the cost of most doses of Eli Lilly's Zepbound. The price of the high-dose Wegovy is about 40% less than what Lilly charges patients for the top 3 doses of Zepbound. Wegovy HD will be available starting today. Checking on your money, President Trump's latest deadline for Iran to agree to a deal is hours away, and traders are bracing for a number of outcomes. Stock futures are falling this morning ahead of the open on Wall Street. And golfer Bryson DeChambeau is spearheading an investor group that's acquiring Sportsbox AI. It's a company that specializes in artificial intelligence technology and 3D motion capture for sports and fitness training apps. Financial terms of the deal were not disclosed, but DeChambeau says the transaction is worth 8 figures. Courtney Donahoe, Bloomberg Radio.
Experience the power and passion of Mahler's Fifth Symphony with the St. Louis Symphony Orchestra. Music director Stefan Denev leads this monumental work, paired with the St. Louis Symphony Orchestra's first performances of Carlos Simon's Double Concerto Suite, featuring Grammy-winning violinist Hilary Hahn and cellist Seth Parker Woods. April 10th, 11th, and 12th at Powell Hall at the Jack C. Taylor Music Center. Tickets at slso.org.
The smartest way to do your homework is Hackman Lumber.
Thinking about building a new deck? Start with the deck experts at Hackman Lumber, home of one of the largest inventories of decking materials and accessories in Missouri. From treated lumber and cedar to all the leading names in decking, their experts will help you choose the perfect materials for your dream deck. Then finish it off with endless railing options, balusters, and LED deck lighting to bring your backyard to life. Hackman Lumber will not be undersold on in-stock decking materials, guaranteed. Do it yourself? Their team is ready with expert advice. Need help from a pro? They can connect you with trusted local contractors. Also, check out their expanding paint department with custom color matching. And don't forget, follow Hackman Lumber on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok to catch weekly deal specials and project inspiration all season long. Or visit us at hackmanstl.com. Locations in St. Peters, Troy, and Pacific, Missouri.
This is 104.1 FM KMOX. Here's what's happening. JP Morgan Chase CEO Jamie Dimon warns a resilient U.S. economy could face renewed inflation pressures if the war in Iran disrupts global energy markets. A top Federal Reserve official said Monday an interest rate hike could be appropriate if inflation remains persistently above the central bank's 2% target. And the Associated Press says it will offer buyouts to an unspecified number of its U.S.-based journalists as part of an acceleration away from the focus on newspapers. Let's get you to work on this Tuesday morning. Roger Brand has the latest from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, our biggest backup is still southbound 61, Megan. This traffic reports a service of S&L Coins. We still have this incident southbound 61 south of P. It's jammed approaching Highway W. So a couple miles of traffic, at least maybe 3 miles backed up there on southbound 61. Other than that, we still have the backup northbound 55 from 67 up to A. Only the left lane is open through there. It's still a little slow, Bayless up to Weber. Northbound 270. A little slow down at Gravois, but basically 44 to Ladue, the busy part. Eastbound 64, east of Lindbergh through Hanley, Big Bend is heavy. Westbound 64, Clayton, Skinkrot to Hanley, a couple of slowdowns. South 170, busy at the Parkway. Eastbound 44, Hampton to Kings Highway, slow. And westbound 64, west of 50 through 159 is slow in that work zone on the Illinois side. I'm Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Coming up, the business community not getting behind elimination of Missouri's income tax. Debbie Monterrey is going to have more on that just ahead.
SNL Coin. We buy gold and silver coins, silver and gold jewelry. Also buying gold-filled and silver plates. Before you sell, call SNL. 314-544-3600. 314-544-3600. SNL Coin.
841 here at Total Information AM. I'm Megan Lynch. Here's Debbie Monterrey.
Missouri voters will be asked in November whether they'd like to eliminate the state income tax. Dave Drebus is publisher of the Missouri Scout, and he points out something interesting. Usually when there's discussion of tax cuts, the Missouri business community gets on board. But that's not necessarily what we're seeing here, Dave. Why is that?
Well, it's because it's not really a tax cut. And I think that people hear getting rid of the income tax, and of course you think, well, that's a tax cut. But the plan is to be revenue neutral, meaning that you won't actually get a cut in taxes, and eventually the income tax would be replaced by a larger, broader sales tax. So I think it's because it's not necessarily a tax cut. It's a tax shift.
A tax shift, and obviously the money would have to come from somewhere because the income tax makes up about 2/3 of the state's revenue, correct?
It does, yes.
And
that's exactly right. Yeah.
I know that Governor Kehoe has made this a center of his governorship, and he says this will make Missouri more competitive. And there are states that don't have an income tax. But if you look at states like Nevada, Florida, Alaska, they have huge tourism that brings in a lot of revenue. Tennessee doesn't have an income tax, but Nashville is growing so quickly. Does Missouri have anything like that that would indicate that we would have a lot of income to replace the state income tax?
No, so we don't have a driver, and people really, I think civic leaders really have been looking for that, whether it's geospatial or whether, I think that's something Missouri is lacking. The idea, though, is that you could expand the sales tax. So right now, sales tax just covers goods and doesn't cover services. And the idea is that by expanding the sales tax, that would bring in enough revenue to offset the income tax. The philosophy here, conservatives would say, whatever you tax, you get less of. So we tax cigarettes, we tax sins, because we want less of that to happen. And so when we're taxing income, we're taxing something we want more of. And so instead of doing that, we should shift it to tax something that we want people to save more, would be what they might say. Or, we want the sales tax just to be broader and not just based on. So that's sort of the general philosophy behind the push, I think Kehoe's push.
It's interesting that Kehoe decided to go in the direction of making this a statewide amendment as opposed to the legislature just deciding to do this on their own. And I wonder if it's because in a statewide amendment, if people are just thinking, oh, yeah, let's get rid of the income tax. That sounds great. Who wants to pay an income tax, right? But not really thinking about what happens after that.
Right. And they have to do this because right now the state constitution limits, you can't expand the sales tax. It's just for goods. The realtors got this in there because they were worried about something like this happening. So years ago, they got it in there that you can't expand the sales tax. So they have to amend the constitution. And so that's going to have to go to the voters. Now, will the voters get that? The idea is that you're going to be paying the same amount of tax, even though you're trying to get rid of the income tax. The idea is it's going to be revenue neutral. So it's just where you're paying the tax and who's paying the tax. I mean, there's a good argument made by the more liberal folks that, listen, poor people spend every single dollar that they make. It comes and it goes out every month. Rich people make more than they spend generally. I mean, this is all sort of generalizations, but rich people are the people who, when you're taxing income, you're taxing it all. But when you're taxing spending, you're not taxing that 30% or whatever that they are putting into municipal bonds or saving, So it would shift it also in who's paying it.
You point out in a column that was in the Business Journal this week that the Missouri Chamber of Commerce and the Kansas City Chamber of Commerce testified on this, but only for informational purposes, and that the Associated Industries of Missouri did testify in favor, but then they flipped their position and opposed it. So are there any of these groups that are in support? Who testified in support of this that you know of?
Well, they're conservative groups, so like Americans for Prosperity, sort of. So there are conservative groups, think tanks, and economists who would support this, but the business groups generally don't. This isn't. They first of all, they like Kehoe. He's done good things for them, so they don't want to upset him by opposing it. But they also worry that we get rid of the income tax. It has to come from somewhere, and they're talking about the sales tax, but there are many businesses that have sales tax exemptions. A lot of agriculture companies have exemptions, and will their exemptions go away? Or will we look at raising the corporate tax because we need revenue? I mean, I think that they're nervous about if this is revenue neutral and we're getting rid of 2/3 of general revenue, which you said correctly, that's got to come from somewhere. And will that hurt their bottom line in some way?
And this also is coming at a time when right now Governor Kehoe is talking about massive cuts to the current state budget, and that he's telling people already we're going to lose some services.
Yes, we have a tough budget situation in Missouri. We had huge surpluses when we had ARPA money, and now we're sort of normalizing, and we also did a capital gains state tax cut. So though you still have to pay capital gains on your federal taxes in Missouri, you don't have to. And that ended up costing much more than we believe it's going to cost, maybe twice as much or 3 times as much as originally estimated. So suddenly things are tight on the budget level, and that's also giving some people some misgivings. It's just the time to do this. But I will say that the Kehoe plan and what the House is putting forward is a phased-in plan. So it's not like a light switch where it just, suddenly the income tax is gone and you've got to replace it right away. The first several years, you wouldn't see anything on the sales tax. The income tax the rate would go down as revenues rise. So it's a phased-in plan.
Well, I'm sure people will be hearing more about this as November gets closer, but it will be on the statewide ballot. Dave Drebus is the publisher of the Missouri Scout. Thanks for joining us on KMOX.
Thanks for having me, Debbie.
Coming up on Total Information AM, maybe you're getting a refund check this year on your taxes. Maybe you need to save it. We're going to talk with Ashley Laws, Region Executive for Consumer Investments at Bank of America, next.
Retiring soon? Get the information you need by joining Kyle Jones and Matt Allgeier of Fire Capital Management for your retirement highway, Sunday mornings at 9:30. Investment advisory services made available through Pine Ridge Advisors, LLC, a registered investment advisor. Securities made available through AE Financial Services, LLC, member Banner and SIPC.
For the last 33 years, you've discovered that at Banner Construction, we pride ourselves on quality craftsmanship. We believe the single most important decision homeowners must make when considering an exterior restoration project is, who do you hire? At Banner, we provide well-engineered, meaningful, long-term solutions to transform your home into the pride of the neighborhood. Let us help you fall in love with your home all over again. Call 314-569-1050 or visit bannerconstruction.com and have a banner day.
Straight Realty has always been an industry leader when it comes to commissions. So it should come as no surprise that the recent Realtor settlement has only empowered us to continue offering our sellers even better rates. We now list homes for only 2%. Hi, I'm Christina Straight, owner of Straight Realty. Call me, 314-441-4444. Why pay more than 2? You can also listen to my podcast on my website, straightrealty.com.
Commissions are not regulated and are negotiable. Straight Realty is a licensed broker in the state of Missouri.
If you owe the IRS, you have a legal issue, and you need the Lance Drury Law Firm. We'll protect your rights. Log on at lancedrurylaw.com. Calling all runners. Register now for the Cardinals 5K on Saturday, April 18th. And you can take a victory lap on the field at Busch Stadium. Don't miss this chance to bring the whole family for a fun St. Louis 5K race that brings fans together to support kids in the community. The Cardinals 5K, Saturday, April 18th. Register now at cardinals.com/5K. And for more information, just head to KMOX.com/events.
You're back with Total Information AM. I'm Megan Lynch. And if you're getting a tax refund this year, do you have a plan for what you'll do with it? Ashley Laws is Region Executive for Consumer Investments at Bank of America. She says it's better if you do. And we sat down to talk about the top things you should think about before that refund check is in your hands.
This is kicking off America Saves Week. So it's a great time to ask. And it's anticipated that this year, There will be an increase of $100 billion in tax refunds, which is a 25% increase from 2025. That's from Bank of America Global Research. So all that being said, folks likely will have, larger increase if they fall into that category. But before you can decide what's the best thing to do with it, you need to think about what are your objectives or what goals do you want to accomplish. And so first of all, do you have strong financial foundations, or is that the first area you want to focus on before you think about what do you want to accomplish in the future? So you want to ask yourself the question of, do I have enough savings to cover an emergency? We would likely recommend 3 to 12 months based off what your personal needs are. And if the answer to that is no, that might be a great place to start. And this is a good opportunity to kickstart that. But there's other things that sometimes are barriers to building that emergency savings, and that can create chronic financial stress. And you might want to tackle that first, such as debt that's become unmanageable. And maybe it looks like paying down debt in that situation. From there, given that your financial foundations are strong, then you can think about how should I save? What do I want to save for? And when am I going to need access to that money? Because that's going to inform your decision around what vehicle you should choose to do the savings and what steps you should take.
So when it comes to choosing those vehicles, let's say maybe you don't have a whole lot of debt and you want to somehow create a nest egg out of this money. What are some great ways to do that?
Absolutely. Depending on the time horizon of when you would use the money in this nest egg, you can consult with a financial professional and really back into what would be the best way to get where you want to go. So think through questions like, when will I need access to the money? How much money would be the ideal amount for me to save? And how much additional cash can I put aside on an ongoing basis to get there? That's going to help you pick up to what vehicle you should choose. You can also think about things like, what's your risk tolerance, your emotional reaction to taking risk, and what's your financial capacity to take risk. Again, if those financial foundations are in place, you're in a much safer spot to take on additional risk. I bring that up because you might consider investing money, which over time may provide you greater opportunity for return, though in the short term, you may be taking on a greater amount of risk. We're seeing a lot of market volatility right now, for example. And so that's where, longer term planning has a big impact in what vehicle you're choosing for your savings.
I'm curious about CDs. It used to be that, wow, that was a great place to put your money if you wanted a little bit of return on it, less risk, but you can't access it right away. You've got to follow those time limits. Are CDs still a good option for people?
Absolutely. CDs, in fact, this is so interesting. 40% of Bank of America clients since 2019 have migrated cash from typical checking or savings accounts into vehicles like CDs. And so we're seeing individuals use CDs to accomplish financial goals. Now, of course, it depends on the rate environment, and that's something that fluctuates as rates change over time. And you're right, when you take on a CD, you're going to choose your time frame that money is locked up for. And so you want to be thinking through, again, the timeline of your goals, when you're going to use the money to make the right choice for you, and always consult a financial professional to help you make that choice and take an x-ray of your situation so you know what's the best choice in terms of a CD. But typically, because you're locking that money up, you then are paid a higher interest rate, higher yield than what you might in a checking or savings account. And that's the trade-off, is access to your money, but for the reward of potential higher returns.
Say you're carrying some credit card debt, but you've got enough maybe to cover some of that and put some money in savings. How do you know what's the best bet? Like, what are the things you need to factor into that?
Yeah, it's a great question. And it certainly can be a yes and answer. You want to look at what's the rate I'm paying on the credit card in this example versus what's the rate I'm earning in the CD. And what's the potential that I might need this money in the future versus the reward of paying off the credit card now and avoiding the interest rate. So those are the things you want to gauge or weigh against each other, but ultimately the rate that you're paying over time on high interest rate debt can be valuable to eliminate quicker, even if you're earning a higher interest rate in a say a CD, for example, given that those are typically shorter term instruments. And if you're paying the minimum amount on a credit card month over month, when you look at how much that debt will amount to over time as the interest builds upon itself, in a lot of cases, it makes more sense to pay that credit card off when it's a high interest rate.
Overall, would you expect to see more people saving with this year's refunds?
Absolutely. Interestingly, 9 in 10 Americans are setting financial resolutions for 2026. There is a goal of increased savings. 52% of Americans are saying that's one of their objectives. 36% of Americans saying paying off credit cards is a top priority. And so this influx of cash is a huge opportunity to do that. And we absolutely expect to see that money going towards savings in whatever form or whatever objective that savings is there to accomplish.
Where can people go to get more information on financial tools that they might be able to access?
Yes. One thing I would recommend is bettermoneyhabits.bankofamerica.com, an incredible site with so many interactive tools, resources, and infographics to help you better understand your situation and the choices you have available.
So have a plan before you get that check in your hands and get tempted, right?
That's it. If you don't have a plan, your money can make the decision for you very quickly. So know what you want to do and have that plan in place before the check arrives.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Megan.
That's Ashley Laws, Region Executive for Consumer Investments at Bank of America.
Time now for today's Spotlight on Health Trends, sponsored by Wesley Financial.
The Senior Farmers Market Nutrition Program provides low-income seniors